Chapter 5666, You're Not at a Loss. Li Qi's natal veins are all given to you. His years of experience, merging with you and combining the wisdom of two people will surely increase your strength. Long Chen said with a smile. Song Mingyuan chuckled. All the properties that Li Qi had accumulated over the years were all given to him, and he also made a lot of money. With Li Qi's power, your practice direction needs to be changed. Long Chen pondered for a moment. How to change? Song Mingyuan was stunned. His strength had already reached his level, everything had been finalized, and it was almost impossible to change. If I remember correctly, your dragon soul is named Huta Ruelong, right? Long Chen said. Yes, Song Mingyuan said. Thick earth Ruelong, in the mythology, it is a symbol of auspiciousness. It cultivates in the earth veins and has its own luck. With the blessing of luck, the place where it is located is a place of auspiciousness. Those who are auspicious dragons have great blessings, practice the virtue of Kuan and softness, and imitate the nature of great virtue and carrying things. When Long Chen said this, Song Mingyuan's destiny dragon veins automatically emerged, and he was actually attracted by Long Chen's words. Song Mingyuan's destiny dragon vein turned into a 3-foot-long little dragon, and when he came to Long Chen, he rubbed his head on Long Chen's shoulder affectionately a few times. Damn it, even though he is my boss, I'm a little jealous of you. Song Mingyuan couldn't help cursing seeing that his own dragon soul was so close to Long Chen. The moment they signed the contract, they were partners in life and death, the closest comrades in arms. You must know that the dragon souls in each of the dragon blood warriors are different, and they never communicate with each other. Now that his natal dragon soul is showing favor to Long Chen, Song Mingyuan feels a little uncomfortable. Long Chen lightly stroked the head of dragon soul, smiled slightly and said, It's not that my brother doesn't understand you, it's that he has nothing to do. As the head of the Dragon Blood Legion, he cannot live for himself, but for all his brothers. No one doesn't hate killing, but in order to survive, we have no choice. After hearing Long Chen's words, the dragon soul slowly left Long Chen's shoulder with a gloomy look in its eyes, and returned to Song Mingyuan's side, seemingly very disappointed. But that was before, it's different now, Mingyuan, you don't need to force yourself to kill in the future. When Long Chen said this, the eyes of the dragon soul suddenly lit up, and it looked at Long Chen in disbelief. Long Chen said with a smile, 3 of the commanders of the 4 major armies are good at attacking, and now we need a commander who is good at defense to control the rhythm of the battle. In other words, from now on, the 3 of them will be responsible for the attack, and you will be responsible for the defense. In this way, the Dragon Blood Legion can attack and defend, and advance and retreat freely. Whether it is the endurance of the battle or the safety, it will be greatly guaranteed. Buzz. The dragon's soul glowed all over, and his eyes were full of unbelievable expressions. Of course it's true. Long Chen smiled. Hearing Long Chen's reply, the dragon soul couldn't help being overjoyed, and circled around Long Chen's body several times before returning to Song Mingyuan's body. Boss, do I really want to do this? Song Mingyuan asked. Long Chen nodded. In the past, the Dragon Blood Legion was all onslaught fighters. Although their lethality was astonishing, their consumption was also extremely astonishing. If they couldn't kill the opponent in one go, they would fall into danger. Moreover, the formation of the Dragon Blood Legion at that time was completely controlled by the 4 of you, and the 4 major legion commanders were indispensable. But it was different now. The combat experience and combat awareness of the Dragon Blood warriors, as well as their cooperation with each other, were almost impeccable. On the whole, with Guoran and Xiachen in command, it is enough to control the rhythm. In this way, you, the commanders of the 4 major armies, can completely let go of the battle. You bear the power of the thick earth, and you are blessed by the soul of Ruelong. It hates killing, and it is difficult for you to exert its power. But if your strength is used for defense, and at the same time blessed with Ruelong's auspicious aura, that will be the greatest guarantee for the survival of our Dragon Blood Legion. Long Chen said, Boss, why do I not understand? Long Chen's words made Song Mingyuan confused. Long Chen couldn't help but rolled his eyes and said angrily, Our medical fighters are wood-type strongmen. They are the mainstay of our Dragon Blood Legion. If someone is injured, they need to be treated immediately. However, the wood energy of the medical soldiers comes from their natal power, and once it is exhausted, they will lose the ability to treat them. Tushinmu, you don't need to fight now. You have two tasks now. One is to ensure everyone's safety, and the other is to provide medical soldiers with the strength of the soil. As long as your power of thick earth is endless, their power of wood will be endless. Not to mention the blessing of Ruelong Qi, their healing effect will be enhanced several times. As long as the Dragon Blood warriors are not killed by one blow, and there are so many medical warriors around, the Dragon Blood warriors are immortal. Do you understand this time? After hearing Long Chen's words, Song Mingyuan suddenly realized and finally understood Long Chen's thoughts. That is to say, from now on, Song Mingyuan will no longer directly participate in frontal battles. He is responsible for the defense on the battlefield, which is to protect the safety of the team in case of emergencies. Killing runs counter to Rulong's nature, but it can be used for defense to maximize its power. In addition, Rulong's auspicious aura is a kind of sacred life aura, which has a powerful beneficial effect on medical soldiers. Although I'm not reconciled, I still obey the boss arrangement. Song Mingyuan smiled wryly. As the head of the Dragon Blood Legion, he used to charge into the battle, but now he has become a nanny on the battlefield. For him, the gap is a bit big. Tian Xingjian, the gentleman strives for self-improvement, the terrain is Koan, and the gentleman carries things with virtue. This is your mission. When you stop killing, your dragon soul will give you its true power, and you will be able to integrate perfectly, so get along well with it. Long Chen laughed. Looking at the entire Dragon Blood Legion, only Song Mingyuan's natal dragon soul doesn't like to kill, and the other dragon souls are all mad warriors. Of course, Guoran's Qianlong is also an exception, but it's not that it doesn't like fighting, it's just that it's lazy. Originally, when Long Chen first saw Xue Yingfeng, he hesitated who to give this opportunity to, until he saw Song Mingyuan make a move just now. Long Chen knew that this fruit must belong to Li Qi. Rulong's power is astonishing, but it's a pity that Ruelong doesn't approve of Song Mingyuan's fighting style, so he can't use Rulong's power at all. Only by changing the way of fighting can the strengths of Ruelong and Song Mingyuan be integrated and achieve mutual success, instead of running in opposite directions and weakening each other as before. In this way, the future direction of Song Mingyuan and Li Qi is completely clear, and Long Chen is looking forward to their future performance. Long Chen knew that from now on, the two of them would be the most powerful spear and shield of the Dragon Blood Legion. Chapter 56-67, Dang Dang Dang. A Dragon Blood warrior stood in front of a huge blood crystal monster lizard. His long sword slashed on its skin, sparks shot out. Boss, is this really edible? Long Chen asked them to collect rations for Man. Seeing the appearance of the blood crystal monster lizard, they hesitated. Brother Long. However, at this moment, Man's voice came, and he was seen walking out of Wan Long's nest. Man woke up from hunger, but when he saw the blood crystal monster lizard corpses all over the ground, his eyes lit up with gold. There was a strange leather bag in his hand. The mouth of the bag was aimed at the corpse on the ground, the runes on the leather bag circulated, and the corpses on the ground were all put into the bag. Man stretched out his hand from the bag and took out a blood crystal monster lizard. At this time, its body had shrunk to only 1 foot long. Man opened his mouth and directly sent it into his mouth. Bang, bang, bang. The crisp sound was like chewing popped beans, and the Dragon Blood warriors suddenly felt their scalps tingling. The blood crystal demon lizard's terrifying defense was crunchy in Man's mouth, and Man's teeth were too scary. Delicious. I don't know if it's really delicious, or if I'm too hungry, or if the corpses of the blood crystal monster lizards contain huge power. Man ate them one by one, and he ate more than 10 of them in a short time. Man, eat slowly, we have prepared a lot of food for you, and there will be more later. Seeing Man eating like this, Long Chen felt a little scared. You must know that it was a blood crystal monster lizard. The former royal family was afraid that he would eat too much and it would be bad for his health. Man agreed with his mouth, but his big hands continued to reach out to the bags, one at a time. Man woke up, and Long Chen asked everyone to hand over all the collected corpses to Man. Even though Man's Cosmos bag had an amazing capacity, hundreds of thousands of Demon Clan's corpses were loaded into it, and it was almost full. Man was overjoyed. The food was enough for him for a month. After all, the Dragon Blood Warriors killed super powerful people. The more powerful the monster clan, the purer the energy contained in the body, and for Man, the hungrier he was. With these grains, Man doesn't need to sleep anymore. In this way, Long Chen has more confidence. Everyone returned to Wanlong's nest and continued to move forward, but Long Chen once again summoned the 7 treasure glazed tree and 3,000 original runes for the Dragon Blood Warriors to enlighten. Although the time for the Dragon Blood Warriors to comprehend is a little late, but the Dragon Blood Warriors have amazing comprehension, and time is not a problem. What's more, they are assisted by dragon souls, and they will instinctively comprehend the original runes that suit them, and a few days are enough. During these few days, they can comprehend as much as they can. As for those who cannot comprehend, no matter how much time is given to them, it is estimated that they will not be able to comprehend thoroughly. Boom! Wanlong nest moved forward slowly, neither fast nor slow. Countless forces saw the mighty Wanlong nest, and they all avoided it one after another, not daring to stop it. Long Chen, don't you take the opportunity to quickly comprehend the talisman on the Jiuli God tablet and the natal talisman I passed to you? Seeing Long Chen standing in Wanlong's nest, quietly watching the scene outside, with a cup of hot tea in his hand, the Chaos Dragon Emperor couldn't help but speak with that leisurely look. Ever since he advanced to the 9 Meridians Heavenly Sage and merged all the Dragon Blood runes, Long Chen seemed to be a normal person, which puzzled the Chaos Dragon Emperor. You must know that whether it is the Dragon Blood rune or the Jiuli rune, although it is in the hands of Long Chen, if he does not study it, it cannot be regarded as his own thing after all. It stands to reason that at this tense moment, Long Chen shouldn't waste any time. I've already realized it. Long Chen smiled slightly. What do you mean? This time, even the Chaos Dragon Emperor didn't understand Long Chen's words. What is enlightenment? How profound are these primitive Jiuli talismans and Dragon Blood talismans? You can comprehend them once you think about them. How is this possible? Failure is normal. Only after experiencing failure after failure and eliminating the reasons for each failure, then the rest is the correct answer. There is no reason to give up after failure. Whether it's the Jiuli talisman or the Dragon's Blood talisman, when they enter my body, I have already realized part of it. They have been integrated into my soul and blood. Although they only account for less than 1/10 of all the runes, I think they are enough. Long Chen said. Real? Even if he is as powerful as the Chaos Dragon Emperor, he can't help but take a breath. If it is as Long Chen said, all this will be incredible. The Jiuli talisman is in the Sea of Stars. I don't know why, but I have a feeling of déjà vu to them. And they also have an inexplicable intimacy with me. Those runes are willing to give their power to me. However, some of the runes are too powerful for me to control, even if they wanted to. As for the Dragon Blood runes, when they entered my body, the spirit bones in my chest began to heat up, attracting countless runes to imprint them. I don't know what happened, but when these runes were branded on my spirit bones, it seemed that everything was under my control. Long Chen explained. After Long Chen finished speaking, the Chaos Dragon Emperor was silent. Long Chen was also silent. This is an unreasonable phenomenon, and Long Chen seemed to feel the will of Emperor Dan once again. When the Jiuli talisman poured into Long Chen's body, sadness appeared in the will of Emperor Dan, and that sadness made Long Chen a little uncomfortable. Long Chen wanted to ask the Chaos Dragon Emperor several times, but in the end he held back because he knew that the Chaos Dragon Emperor would not tell him. The silence of the Chaos Dragon Emperor now confirms his thoughts. The feeling of resemblance and the sadness made Long Chen feel a lot of emotions. But Long Chen didn't ask. He sipped the tea in his hand, looked at the outside world in Wanlong's nest, trying to calm down his heart. Because at this time, his condition is not very good, and he is no longer suitable for enlightenment and practice. He just happens to be on duty, and everyone can improve with peace of mind. Brother Long, eat some too, this is really delicious. Seeing Long Chen looking outside in a daze, a man couldn't help but walk over, handed the bag to Long Chen, and motioned Long Chen to take it himself. Long Chen looked at the densely packed corpses of the blood crystal monster lizard clan in the bag, and the bloody air rushed towards his face, and his scalp felt numb. All of a sudden, he hurriedly said, "Good brother, Brother Long is not hungry, you can eat by yourself." Oh, seeing that Long Chen didn't eat, a man sat down beside Long Chen obediently holding the bag and started eating. "By the way, man, you said that your people will find you, but it's been so many days, why is there no movement at all?" Long Chen asked. Aman entered the Tianmai profound realm with his clansmen, and they must be very anxious now that he is lost with his clansmen. However, after so many days, no one from the Aman clan was seen. Long Chen couldn't help feeling a little worried, for fear that something might happen to them. Danger. "I don't know. I ran away before and they could find me back," a man said with wide eyes. Long Chen was speechless for a while. The past was the past, the present is the present, this is the Tianmai profound realm, there are many crises, the heavens are chaotic and many secret methods will fail. But it's already like this, and it's impossible for Long Chen to take a man to find his clansmen, so he can only take down the Imperial Dao Niling first. Boom! Wanlong's nest moved forward slowly. Suddenly there was a roar in the void on the left, and a group of strong men appeared, galloping close to Wanlong's nest. Violent aura surged, full of provocation. However, when Long Chen looked at this group of strong men, he couldn't help but frowned. He actually met an acquaintance. Chapter 5669, Boom. The huge 10,000 dragons' nest, like a world, smashed towards the golden armored knights, and the violent coercion changed the color of the universe. Golden armor holding the sky. Lu Qingshuang was the first to react, and stopped drinking loudly. Following her reminder, all the knights in golden armor formed seals with their hands, and the horses and men became one. Boom! However, as soon as the magic circle was formed, it was crushed by the divine light of Wanlong's nest. Countless people flew out with blood, and the formation was instantly disrupted. If at this time, Wanlong's nest is pressed down, countless people will be crushed to pieces in an instant. Yu Changfeng is used to being arrogant. According to his understanding, the provocation on his side is over, and someone from the other side should come to mediate. He didn't expect Wanlong's nest to ignore them at all, and a sudden attack killed them by surprise. Court death. Yu Changfeng was furious, 9 heavenly veins radiated from his back, and the pale yellow battle armor on his body roared and exploded. What people didn't expect was that his pale yellow battle armor and his natal dragon veins mutually strengthened each other. With the fusion of forces, the coercion is rising rapidly. Yu Changfeng was preparing to meet the impact of Wanlong's nest, but Wanlong's nest did not kill them, but continued to leave slowly in the original direction, followed by a lazy voice. "I don't hate arrogant people, but I hate people who are more arrogant than me, and I hate those who have no ability but are particularly arrogant." When Lu Qingshuang heard that voice, it was as if struck by lightning. She could hardly believe her ears, and the team led by Lu Qingshuang also had a look of disbelief. "It's him." At this time, Wanlong's nest was already far away. "Who is he?" Yu Changfeng was startled and angry. "He is the one who helped us get the pale yellow battle armor." Lu Qingshuang sighed. Yu Changfeng was furious and wanted to chase him down, but Long Chen's words almost made him angry, because those words not only hurt a lot, but also humiliated him. But hearing Lu Qingshuang's words, Yu Changfeng was stunned for a moment, holding the spear tightly, hesitating whether to fight this arrogant guy or not. Oh, it turned out to be the prodigal son who made Fairy Qingshuang call her brother. Tuming rolled her eyes and said maliciously. Apparently, Tuming was very scheming, and she placed her own eyeliner in Lu Qingshuang's team. She knew Long Chen. Our Fairy Qingshuang, who is known as a high-cold beauty, is not angry at all after being molested. Wow, that's so strange, could it be? Tuming covered her lips with her hands, showing an exaggerated expression of surprise. Looking for death, I'm going to kill him now. Yu Changfeng was suddenly furious. Men are most taboo about this kind of thing, Not to mention that Long Chen humiliated him so much before, how could he bear it? Lu Qingshuang was so angry that she covered her face with frost, wishing to tear Tuming's mouth apart. This woman is too vicious. Yu Changfeng, are you crazy? You were the one who took the initiative to provoke, but they countered passively, and they didn't kill you alone. Is there a problem? We have been provoked 3 times along the way, and if you killed them all without leaving a single one alive, they are considered merciful, right? Without his help, would you be able to put on this pale yellow battle armor? Even if you don't appreciate others, you shouldn't repay your kindness, right? Lu Qingshuang let out a hysterical roar. She was going crazy, and she didn't care about anything at this moment. Lu Qingshuang went berserk. That crazy appearance stunned Yu Changfeng, and his anger disappeared without a trace. He had been with Lu Qingshuang for so many years, and this was the first time he saw her get angry. Tu Meng immediately seized the opportunity and became angry. Oh, you protect that man so much. Laugh. Suddenly, Lu Qingshuang pointed at Tu Meng with a dagger in his hand. Everyone was shocked when they saw the dagger. Damn bitch, you are the one here to tell tales. Since you hate me so much, then come on, take the cursed sword and fight to the death. Lu Qingshuang said with a gloomy expression. The Sword of Curse, also known as the Sword of Judgment, has 2 people's natal runes entered into it. The Judgment rune will start counting down. If the 2 people fail to decide their lives within a certain period of time, the Judgment Sword will explode, and both of them will die when the time comes. This is a death judgment with no way out. Some sects use the Sword of Judgment because of irreconcilable conflicts among their disciples. As a head-level leader, when there is a fierce conflict among his subordinates and he has no choice but to use the Sword of Judgment. Now, the Sword of Judgment is being used on Lu Qingshuang and Tu Meng, and everyone can't help but be shocked, and Yu Changfeng's face also changed drastically, and a look of fear flashed in Tu Meng's eyes, because she saw in Lu Qingshuang's eyes intense murderous intent. She and Lu Qingshuang have fought against each other several times, and the strength of the two is evenly matched. Neither of them can say that they can win the other side. Once the battle starts, both of them will die in the end. Obviously, Lu Qingshuang will drag her to die together. Qingshuang, what are you doing? Quickly put away the cursed dagger. Yu Changfeng's face changed drastically and he shouted sharply. However, at this time, Lu Qingshuang looked at Tu Meng coldly with murderous intent in his eyes, holding the dagger, and said nothing. Lu Qingshuang has always respected Yu Changfeng and never disobeyed his ideas, but this time, she was completely angry. If this continues, the golden armored knights will be destroyed by them, and she must let Yu Changfeng wake up. And if Yu Changfeng is to wake up, he must shut up this bitch, Tu Meng. Otherwise, with her constantly fanning the flames, Yu Changfeng will only go further and further wrong. Lu Qingshuang refused to budge an inch, even Yu Changfeng couldn't do anything about it. For a while, the entire golden armored knights were dead silent. Lu Qingshuang and the members of Tu Meng's own knights clenched their weapons tightly. If a war broke out between the two, they would only choose to defend their admirers. Tat tat tat. Just when everyone was nervous, there was a sound of footsteps, and everyone was surprised that someone walked up to them. They turned their heads to look, and saw a young man in Xing-Yi walking slowly not far away. The young man looked about 15 or 16 years old, with delicate features, like a frail scholar, and his breath was not obvious, but in the void behind him, there appeared roll out a giant dice. The dice was about 3 feet high, square and upright, rolling slowly, with thousands of runes undulating, which looked very strange. When he appeared, including Yu Changfeng, everyone was shocked. This young man in Xing-Yi was almost walking in front of them. Only then did they realize that their perception had no effect on this young man. The boy lowered his head, and in his hands, several dominoes were swinging back and forth. His brows were furrowed, as if he was calculating something. He didn't care about Yu Changfeng and others. The young man in Xing-Yi walked slowly past several feet away from everyone. At that moment, Lu Qingshuang was also full of shock. Looking at the young man, he even forgot to teach Tu Meng a lesson. Stop! Suddenly Yu Changfeng stretched out the spear in his hand, and the wind roared, blocking the boy's way. Chapter 5670. Seeing that Lu Qingxuang didn't listen to him, Yu Changfeng couldn't hold back. At this time, another boy ran out and ignored them all, and he was furious. Yu Changfeng's horse slanted sideways, and his spear blocked the way, blocking the young man. Seeing Yu Changfeng's appearance, Lu Qingxuang suddenly felt powerless. Yu Changfeng became like this, although Tuming has credit for it, but it is also due to his nature. He has been sealed for too long, and his brain will be broken. This young man looks weak, but he can walk in front of everyone without arousing everyone's perception. Even if you think about it with your ass, you know that this person's strength is absolutely extraordinary. He has no grievances or enmities with you. Why are you stopping him? Isn't this enough to hold on? The boy was concentrating on fiddling with the dominoes, when he was stopped suddenly, his hand shook, and the dominoes fell to the ground. Patter! The dominoes grow into strips, with a total of 6 pieces. When they landed, they were lined up neatly. Suddenly being blocked by someone, a look of anger appeared on the boy's face, but when he saw the domino shape on the ground, he couldn't help being stunned. The dragon swallows the golden python, the image of ungrateful and self-defeating, a great evil. Hula! The strong members of the Golden Armored Knights didn't care about the boy's self-talk at all. Seeing Yu Changfeng block the way, the team immediately dispersed, forming a huge encirclement circle, surrounding the boy in the center. Boy, what is your intention to sneak close to my Golden Armored Knights? Come here honestly, don't ask for trouble. A core strong man in the Golden Armored Knights sternly shouted. At this time, this strange man appeared, just enough to attract everyone's attention, and he could be used to divert the conflict between Lu Qingxuang and Tumeng. Don't worry about my intentions, you should worry about yourselves. The boy slowly picked up the dominoes on the ground, blew the dust on them, and said calmly, "Little brother, is this the technique of divination? You have been divination all the way before, targeting us?" Lu Qingxuang saw that this young man was very unusual. For the safety of the Golden Armored Knights, she had to temporarily put aside her grievances with Tuming, put away her dagger, and came to the young man with a pleasant expression. Lu Qingxuang saw that this young man's eyes were black and white, as bright as a mirror. In front of him, everything in her heart would be reflected, and she couldn't help being secretly surprised. The young man glanced at Lu Qingxuang, slightly surprised, and said, "It's strange, but you are not in the elephant." Boy, don't say something that people don't understand. Tell me quickly, what is your purpose of approaching us? A powerful man under Tuming couldn't help shouting. This person is very discerning. Seeing that Lu Qingxuang was being polite to the young man, he insisted on not being polite. He used this method to express his attitude. The young man didn't even look at that person, and said to Lu Qingxuang, "I was trying to figure out the cause and effect with one person along the way, but I still couldn't figure it out. You stopped me just now, and the dominoes fell like an image. This seems to be due to your cause, and the result has nothing to do with me." Lu Qingxuang was startled and hurriedly asked, "The so-called dragon swallowing the golden python, forgetting righteousness and devouring itself, is a big murder, why?" The young man looked at Lu Qingxuang and said, "Do you have the heavenly blood spar on your body?" "Heavenly blood spar?" Lu Qingxuang was taken aback. "I have a piece." At this moment, a strong man from the Golden Armored Knights stood up, holding a palm-sized blood spar. "Give it to me," the boy said. "For you?" The man couldn't help but sneered. "It takes money to solve the elephant, and it's okay if you don't give it. Get out of the way, I'm leaving." The boy said lightly. This day the blood spar is extremely precious, he obtained it unintentionally in the Tianmai Profound Realm, how could he give it to someone at will? The man was about to taunt, but Tuming gave him a wink. The meaning is obvious, give him the things, and after he finishes speaking, kill him and get the things back. Snapped. The young man reached out to take the flying sky blood spar, put it in his bag and said, "The dragon swallowing the golden python, according to the simplest appearance of the hexagram, is that the dragon swallows its own descendants. Only after the golden python has obtained the grace of the real dragon, the dragon's blood will be used to remove the dross for it, and the golden scales will be derived, and the sacred heir will be born. The golden python has since become the most respected species of python. But the golden python is greedy by nature, thinking that the power given to it by the dragon is too little and more power should be given to it, so that it can directly transform into a dragon and rebel instead. This is the so-called ungrateful self-eating. Ungrateful is ungrateful, self-eating is self-eating. The words of forgetting righteousness and self-eating are concise and do not need to be explained. As for the dragon swallowing the golden python, the dragon can be interpreted as the dragon family, or it can be extended to be a person whose surname is dragon, or who cultivates the supernatural powers of the dragon family. As for the golden python, it is the same. It can be compared to the python family or the golden scales added to the body, and the kindness will be revenged. Shut up. Yu Changfeng's brows stood upright when he heard it, and his eyes almost spewed fire. How could this be divination? Is this clearly a curse? Damn it, tell me, what is your relationship with Long Chen? Tuming said with a gloomy face, gritted her teeth. Long Chen? Could it be the brother Long that the big man said? That person who obviously doesn't know him, but can make me feel restless, but he can't figure out the cause and effect anyway? The boy was taken aback for a moment, and couldn't help talking to himself. Lu Qingshuang looked at the young man and couldn't help being shocked. She even suspected that this young man knew Long Chen and came to humiliate them on purpose. However, outsiders should not know such details about Long Chen and her, and based on her understanding of Long Chen is not the kind of person who likes to show off everything. Not necessarily tell him. The most important thing is that the so-called ingratitude has just happened on the front foot. How would this young man know? Moreover, looking at this young man with clear eyes, he doesn't look like that kind of treacherous person at all, and there is no playful intention in his expression. Could it be that he really predicted this? It would be horrific if true. Suddenly, a strong man pointed a spear at the boy's throat and shouted sharply, "If you don't want to die, just recruit them quickly." Runes flickered on the spear, and the sharp tip of the spear, with a biting murderous aura, was less than 3 inches away from the boy's throat. The young man was pointed at by the spear, frowned, slowly looked at the owner of the spear and said coldly, "It's a gift from heaven. You shouldn't die by my hands, but you make me very uncomfortable, that's all. I won't charge you, let me change your life." Careful, suddenly Yu Changfeng exclaimed. His chi had been locked on the young man, and suddenly the boy disappeared from his chi lock. This was a situation Yu Changfeng had never encountered before. Puff, a ray of white light pierced the man's eyebrows, and flew out from the back of his head, bringing a rain of blood, and the vitality was cut off instantly. Chapter 5671, Die. Yu Changfeng let out a roar, and the spear in his hand was like a flash of lightning, piercing into the void, where there was a faint figure. Although the teenager avoided his lock, his killing spear sensed his position. Boom! With a loud explosion, a small domino hit the tip of the spear, and a big hole was forcibly shaken out of the void. When the big hole healed, the boy had disappeared, and even the slaughter spear couldn't sense his direction. Obviously he was gone. Divination for you with good intentions, but want to kill me, what a bunch of ungrateful people. Originally, after the divination, although it is a sign of great evil, if you seek good fortune and avoid evil, there is still a chance to remedy it, but now, you all wait to die. The boy's voice came from afar. Damn you little bastard, how dare you leave a name? Yu Changfeng was furious. This guy deliberately humiliated them before running away. Gambling in heaven, Hu Feng. The boy's voice sounded again, and the spear in Yu Changfeng's hand kept shaking. He originally wanted to use the boy's echo to capture his position and see if he could strike from the air. This is the unique supernatural power of the slaughtering spear. As long as he can lock his general position and launch a blow from the air, there is still a chance to kill the opponent. Unfortunately, the boy seemed to have seen through his intentions. When the voice came, he was no longer in the same direction as the voice. The slaughtering spear had this supernatural power, but it was useless. Yu Changfeng was so angry that his teeth were itchy. He traveled in all directions and had never met an opponent. Now that he has obtained the pale yellow battle armor and the killing spear, his strength has reached an unprecedented peak. However, he had suffered a loss in front of Long Chen before, And before he had time to regain his position, and now he was being teased by a young boy again, this was simply a great shame for him. But Lu Qingshuang had a look of horror on her face. Originally, she planned to help that boy, but she was ready to offend Yu Changfeng. The reason why she didn't take action directly was because she was full of curiosity about this young man, and she couldn't perceive any fluctuations in his heavenly veins, but he could give people tremendous pressure. She wanted to know how strong this young man was. If he was in danger and she made a move, even if it caused Yu Changfeng's displeasure, she would not do anything to her. However, everything happened too fast, and it felt like it was over before it even started. What shocked her the most was that the strong man who Feng killed was a strong man who had condensed 6 natal veins. Tu Ming's strongest subordinate. You must know that in the entire Golden Armored Knights, only Yu Changfeng has condensed 9 natal veins. He is the existence with the highest level and the strongest strength in the entire Golden Armored Knights. There are 4 Bamai Tianxing, among them are Lu Qingshuang and Tu Meng, and the other 2 leaders of the knights. And the strong man who was killed by Hu Feng, although he was only in the realm of the heavenly sage of the 6 meridians, he was extremely talented and powerful, and he could compete with the heavenly sage of the 7 meridians. However, it was such a strong man who was instantly killed in a muddle-headed manner, and there was no time for everyone to rescue him. The most frightening thing was that everyone could see clearly that it was the domino in Hu Feng's hand that killed the man. The domino was 3 inches long and 1 inch wide, as shiny as jade, and looked extremely fragile, and would shatter at the slightest bump. However, the domino easily pierced through the man's head, along with the golden helmet protecting his head, were pierced. The pierced part of the golden battle helmet was as smooth as a mirror, as if a sharp knife had sliced through a carrot. The powerful golden battle helmet could not provide even a sliver of protection. And it was the small domino that resisted Yu Changfeng's blow. Although Yu Changfeng didn't use all his strength at that time, what he held was the killing spear. The fierce soldier who gathered the power of destruction and killing was actually blocked by that small domino. This boy is only 15 or 16 years old, and there is no aura of time erosion on him, that is to say, he is a strong man in the world. The person is not a person who was sealed in ancient times. Thinking of this, Lu Qingshuang couldn't help but take a deep breath. At the age of 15 or 16, his cultivation has reached this point. This is simply a monster. At the same time, I couldn't help but feel powerless. Yu Changfeng really knew how to challenge, and in such a short period of time, he challenged 2 extremely terrifying people. Long Chen was so powerful that people couldn't figure out his bottom, and this young man, without even using the Tianmai dragon energy, easily escaped from the thousands of troops, and even killed a Lumai Tianxing. Looking at Yu Changfeng at this time, he didn't have any regrets. Instead he gritted his teeth, murderous, as if he would not give up until he smashed the other party's body into pieces, and he didn't reflect on whether his behavior was correct at all. Walk, with a gloomy face, Yu Changfeng waved his big hand and led the mecha knights to gallop forward. Lu Qingshuang's face was numb, and she kept silent. At this moment, she seemed to have bowed her head to fate, and when Tu dreamed of Lu Qingshuang's appearance, a smug smile could not help but appear on the corner of her mouth. Boom! One long nest continued to move forward, and the sound of piercing the sky resounded. Long Chen stood in the hall, looked at the scene outside, recalled Yu Changfeng's arrogant appearance in his mind, and couldn't help being annoyed. Catch up, I have a reason to beat your head like a dog's head. Before, there were acquaintances around, and Long Chen was embarrassed to turn his face directly, but he could see that Yu Changfeng was the kind of person who was shameless, so he should not be able to help but catch up. If he catches up, Long Chen will have a reason to make a move. However, this time, Long Chen actually miscalculated. After waiting for a long time, the Golden Armored Knights did not catch up. If you don't chase after me, you won't have a chance. Long Chen couldn't help sighing. Because the space in front of him began to gradually distort, he moved forward in a straight line, but in the distorted space, the route would keep changing, coming in from the same direction, but because it was at different times, the forward route would change. Although Long Chen deliberately slowed down, one long nest finally entered the distorted space. Buzz! When entering the distorted space on the 10,000 dragons' nest, countless divine patterns lit up, and the huge 10,000 dragons' nest was like a sun, blooming with unprecedented brilliance. At the same time, pure energy rushed towards him, which contained endless power of destiny, sacred power, power of law, and at the same time contained the power of dragon blood. Entering the distorted space, it means that he is very close to the Emperor's Dao Nilin, and he is about to see the true face of the Emperor's Dao Nilin. At that moment, Long Chen's heart gradually became excited. I understand, you don't practice supernatural powers, you don't comprehend the Jili talisman, it's all because of it. Suddenly, the exclamation of Chaos Dragon Emperor came from Long Chen's mind. Chapter 5672, Senior, you are the Chaos Dragon Emperor, can we not be surprised? I'm going to be scared to death by you. Long Chen was speechless for a while, and couldn't help complaining. He was in silence, thinking about things in his head. The voice of the Chaos Dragon Emperor exploded in his mind like thunder. Long Chen was so frightened that he jumped up. Sorry, I forgot to control the sound. The Chaos Dragon Emperor also felt that he was making a fuss over a molehill. However, it is indeed a little excited. Before that, it has been unable to understand why Long Chen obtained the 3,000 original Jili runes and his own life blood rune. It was a good time, but Long Chen didn't do anything. You are because of him? Chaos Dragon Emperor said. Long Chen's heart was beating wildly, and his eyeballs turned wildly. At this time, the Chaos Dragon Emperor said, Don't be afraid, we have a common natal talisman, and he can't hear our conversation. Hearing what the Chaos Dragon Emperor said, Long Chen was relieved. Yes, I am afraid that he will learn from him. He knows the tricks I know, and I don't know the tricks he knows, so if I fight against him, I will definitely suffer a big loss. But you and him are one. Your every move is in his sight, and he will learn it sooner or later. How about this? The next time he appears, I'll help you suppress him completely. Chaos Dragon Emperor said. Long Chen hurriedly shook his head and said, No, he is my heart demon. If I do that, he will look down on me. I have already been looked down upon by him once, and I can't be looked down upon again. Otherwise, I won't be able to understand my mind. Even if he is suppressed and sealed, a new demon will be born, and I will defeat him myself. Long Chen has his own pride. He once plotted against his demons before, and he will never forget the contemptuous eyes of Long Chen in white. For so many years, it has been piercing his heart like a steel needle. At that time, Long Chen secretly vowed that he must defeat the heart demon with real strength, and the heart demon may not be a bad thing. He is actually the most powerful whetstone for Long Chen, and only with him can Long Chen exist all the time. A sense of crisis, forcing myself to become stronger. It was the same with the Chaos Dragon Emperor at the beginning. It raised the inner demon and regarded it as its own opponent. However, the Chaos Dragon Emperor was too powerful, so powerful that it made the inner demon despair, so it wanted to die with it. If it wasn't for this problem, Long Chen believed that the Chaos Dragon Emperor would always allow the demons to exist. Well, I respect your choice. The Chaos Dragon Emperor understood Long Chen's thoughts at this time, and he no longer forced Long Chen. The inner demon is the most powerful enemy, stimulating the deity all the time, and only a strong sense of crisis can prevent Long Chen from taking any slack, which is also a good thing. Senior, don't worry, everything is under control. Long Chen smiled slightly. Seeing that Long Chen was so confident, the Chaos Dragon Emperor stopped saying anything. Although he didn't know what Long Chen was thinking, he would choose to believe in Long Chen. Although this guy is often unreliable, but at critical moments, he is never ambiguous. Originally, it wanted Long Chen to comprehend the supernatural powers of the Dragon Clan. If he went astray, it could also help Long Chen correct it. But since there are heart demons watching, and Long Chen said that he has a way, the Chaos Dragon Emperor can only choose to wait and see. As he was walking forward, suddenly Long Chen flickered, and the green light flashed across and disappeared instantly. Green 6, Long Chen suddenly yelled in surprise. Although the divine light was fast, Long Chen still caught its fluctuations. He could see clearly that it was a green-haired parrot. It's just that the green SIXS speed is too fast, and it disappears in a blink of an eye, and Long Chen doesn't know if it can hear his voice. Before entering the world of Tianyuan, Long Chen met this green-haired parrot by chance, fooled a few silver-winged demons in its hands, and even tricked him into a set of spells. Seeing it at this moment, he couldn't help feeling a little excited. Call. Suddenly the void trembled, the green figure went back and forth, the green feathers all over its body were glowing like glass, and the eyeballs rolled around, staring at Wan Long's nest, flashing a look of surprise and uncertainty. "Who is it? Who is calling me? Come out to Master Lu quickly." The green-haired parrot called. "Wow, it's really you. That's great. Long time no see. I miss you so much." Seeing that it was a green-haired parrot, Long Chen excitedly stopped Wan Long's nest and walked out. When seeing Long Chen, the green-haired parrot laughed. "Who am I? It turns out to be." Seeing an acquaintance, the green-haired parrot spread its wings enthusiastically, but suddenly its expression changed. "I remembered, you lied to me and forced me to teach you a set of spells. You're not a friend at all." The green-haired parrot turned its face faster than turning the pages of a book. It was so enthusiastic in the front, but it became fierce in an instant, looking like it was about to bite. Hey, what are you talking about? It's boring for you to say that, isn't it? Good friend, shouldn't it be good and bad? If you have benefits, share half with me, and if I have benefits, I will share half with you." Long Chen laughed. "Hey, when did you share half of the benefits with me?" The green-haired parrot refused to be fooled, and still looked disgusted. "When I have benefits, you are not there, I think I can share it." Long Chen said helplessly. At this time, Long Chen had come to the side of the green-haired parrot. Its current figure was about the same height as Long Chen, but its aura had completely changed. Li Xianwen's breath fluctuated, which showed that the green-haired parrot became stronger during the time they were separated. Although Long Chen didn't know the origin of the green-haired parrot, from the attitude of Qian Kuan-ding towards it, he knew that this guy's origin was absolutely astonishing, and there must be no harm in having a good relationship with it. "Come on, then I'm here now, what benefits do you have for me?" The green-haired parrot rolled its eyes and looked wary. Snapped, Long Chen stretched out his big hand, patted the shoulder of the green-haired parrot, pretending to be enthusiastic and authentic. "Of course I have. Let me tell you, I have encountered a great opportunity. If I can get it, I will be invincible in the world. As long as you can help me get it, this treasure in the Tian my profound realm, He patted his chest and said, "It's all yours." Long Chen said with a serious face. "You mean the dragon scale?" The green-haired parrot tilted its head to look at Long Chen, and suddenly cursed, "Fuck you, you just want to use me. Those dragon scales are useful to me, and am not from the dragon clan. Do you think I'm a big fool? But it works for me. Aren't we friends? If I become stronger, doesn't that mean you have become stronger? Do the math, is this the truth?" Long Chen hurriedly said. The green-haired parrot hesitated for a moment and said, "It seems that there is some truth. With your sister, when did we become friends?" Call. The green-haired parrot suddenly fluttered its wings, turned into a flash of green lightning and disappeared instantly, and at the same time its sneer came from the void. "You guys are too insidious, I want to stay away from you." Chapter 5673, Senior. What's the situation? How did this guy learn so well? The green-haired parrot flew away, and Long Chen stayed where he was. When I saw the green-haired parrot last time, this guy was stupid and very easy to fool. This time, how did he become smarter? That's your bad luck. This guy's intelligence fluctuates from time to time. Maybe it's at its peak right now. Qian Kuan-ding replied. Anything else? Long Chen was speechless for a while. This guy is so strong now, if he can fool him into helping him, it will be much easier to compete for the Imperial Daonilin. Long Chen sighed. The key is that there is no time, it has already smelled its own opportunity, and it is impossible to sacrifice its own time to help you. Qian Kuan-ding said. Forget it, relying on yourself is the most reliable. In the end, Long Chen had no choice but to give up. When Long Chen tentatively obtained the origin of the green-haired parrot from Qian Kuan-ding began to pretend to be dumb again, and Long Chen could only give up. As Wanlong's nest moved forward, the aura of the Emperor's Dao Nilin in front became stronger and stronger, and the endless power of dragon blood was released crazily, filling the whole world. What a waste! Long Chen couldn't help but feel a little sad. This is simply reckless. Emperor Dao Nilin just released these precious powers just to weaken the power of the seal. The power of the seal comes from the original power of the Chaos Dragon Emperor. Unfortunately, Long Chen's ability is limited now. He can only watch these energies being wasted, but he has nothing to do. Although these energies are a great tonic for the Dragon Blood Warriors, compared with this endless energy, what they can absorb is just a spoonful taken from the vast sea. The Dragon Blood Warriors, the Hidden Dragon Warriors, and the disciples of Feng Shenhage are all trying their best to improve themselves, absorbing energy and comprehending the divine talisman. Long Chen looked at Li Qi. At this time, Li Qi had already condensed 3 natal meridians. Unlike before, he did not need to advance to the 9-meridian heaven sage, but directly condensed the natal meridian. A lot of time. The 3 dragon veins on Li Qi's back were scaled with crystal stones all over his body. His eyes were full of murderous aura, and his aura was even more astonishing. Li Qi's dragon soul is an ancient fierce dragon, a mutated dragon, ferocious and bloodthirsty, and warlike by nature. The reason why it merged with Li Qi in the first place was because it defeated all other Earth-type dragon souls and had the priority to choose. However, it doesn't like Li Qi's natal attributes, but he has no choice but to accept his fate. However, when Li Qi absorbed the destiny fruit of Zhuangfengfeng, the mutated power of the Earth system, and it instantly matched with this mutated dragon of the Earth system. At that moment, it began to fuse with Li Qi without reservation. Full of energy. At this time, Li Qi no longer had the suppleness of being virtuous and carrying things, but instead had the decisiveness needed to slay demons and demons. Now that the distance from Emperor Dao Nilin is getting closer and closer, Wanlong Nest absorbs more and more energy, and Li Qi's promotion speed will become faster and faster. And when Long Chen looked at Tang Weiner, Long Chen's heart beat wildly. Tang Weiner had already condensed the 11th Heaven Vein Dragon Qi. However, when the 11th Tianmai Dragon energy appeared, Tang Weiner's aura became deeper instead, and even the fluctuation of the wind element became obscure. However, behind this obscurity, hidden was endless power. Seeing this scene, Long Chen couldn't help but gasp. The changes brought about by Tang Weiner's Heaven Vein Dragon Qi were extremely astonishing. Long Chen felt that Tang Weiner's wind energy had undergone a qualitative change. Boss. At this moment, Song Mingyuan, who was in retreat, came out. At this time, Song Mingyuan was in high spirits, with a faint glow in his eyes, and his aura fluctuated as vastly as the sea. He could feel the powerful energy is being converted. My good guy, my whole temperament has changed. When he saw Song Mingyuan, Long Chen couldn't help being surprised and delighted. Today's Song Mingyuan, with the support of Li Qi's family background, has advanced to the level of Jumai Tianshan and is still at the level of Jumai Zakshan and has reached the level of micro-level control over the power of Tianmai. Because Long Chen has reached that level, he can see Song Mingyuan's realm at a glance. Now Song Mingyuan is just one step away. He only needs to unite the 9 veins to reach the realm of the Emperor. It all depends on the success of the boss and Li Qi. Song Mingyuan said a little excitedly, even his voice trembled a little. Until now, he has completely merged with the Dragon Soul, and after the fusion, he has finally fully understood the meaning of the power of the thick earth, and he feels enlightened and suddenly enlightened. My brother, don't talk about that, how do you feel? Long Chen asked. It feels very good. Now I really understand the meaning of the power of the earth. I will be responsible for the safety of the Dragon Blood Legion in the future. Song Mingyuan said confidently. Seeing how confident you are, I feel more at ease. Long Chen laughed. Song Mingyuan is different from Li Qi. He is a more reserved and introverted person, and he doesn't speak big words easily. His ability to say such things proves that he has great confidence in his own strength. Today's Song Mingyuan is already at the pinnacle of the 9 meridians, and he doesn't need to practice anymore. Now he just needs to adapt to his new power. Song Mingyuan woke up, and Man fell asleep again. This time, it was not to save food, but when Man was full, he needed to digest the flesh and blood in his body. At this time, the energy was concentrated in his stomach, and he was prone to sleepiness. So when Man was sleeping, he was either conserving his strength or improving his strength. Boom! Suddenly, there was a loud explosion ahead, and a moving castle passed by the 10,000 dragons' nest, almost colliding with the 10,000 dragons' nest. Although they didn't hit each other, the protective light of the two behemoths rubbed against each other, and Wanlong's nest trembled slightly, but the castle shook in the air and almost turned over. Asshole, don't you have eyes? In the castle, there was a sound of shouting and cursing, and as the man exhaled and opened his voice, the cold demonic aura came over. It was obvious that there were a group of strong demons in the castle. Your sister, who are you with? When Long Chen saw that it was a demon race, he immediately became furious. Is this still a problem with him? Wanlong nest trembled violently, its speed instantly increased to the extreme, and it slammed into the huge castle fiercely. The castle was flying fast before, but it was close to the Imperial Road against the scale. Under the space distortion, its direction was not easy to control, so it almost hit the Wanlong's nest. And when the strong demons in the castle were frantically trying to stabilize the castle, Wanlong's nest hit the castle like a huge meteor, and the strong demons in the castle exclaimed. Boom! Wanlong's nest slammed into the castle. The castle was much smaller than Wanlong's nest. It was as if a boulder had hit an egg. With the sound of the explosion, the castle instantly disintegrated and turned into flying debris. Chapter 5674. Obviously, the castle and Wanlong's nest are not at the same level at all, and they can't stand such a violent impact at all. The 10,000 dragons' nest was safe and sound, but the castle exploded with a bang. Countless demon powerhouses were turned into dust in the terrifying impact. Only a few demon powerhouses survived by virtue of their strong strength. It turned out that this castle was built by the human race, and was later occupied by the demons, although they had already learned how to control the castle when they occupied it. But this group of demons are not very intelligent, and their control is not strong. It was okay when they were on the periphery, but when they walked through this distorted space, they seemed to be in a hurry, which led to the previous scene. Now that the castle was smashed to pieces, only tens of thousands of the millions of strong demons survived. These strong demons were tall, with bony horns on their heads, bat-like wings on their backs, and blue-faced fangs. It looked very sinister. What surprised Long Chen was that there were not many powerful demons in this group, but there were actually 3 Jumai Tianxing. The Jumai Tianxing mentioned here are all natal Tianxing. There are hundreds of heavenly saints of 8 meridians, and the rest are all heavenly saints of 7 meridians, and there will be no more people below, because all the strong demons below the heavenly saints of 7 meridians were killed. Long Chen appeared in front of Wanlong's nest, opened his big hand, and the power of thunder shot out, forming a large net that covered the earth. The corpses of countless strong demons lay densely on the ground. These corpses were wiped out by Long Chen and directly collected into the chaotic space. Those strong demons who had just lost their castle and were still in shock and anger, saw Long Chen come out to collect the corpse, and they were suddenly furious. The leader of a strong demon clan roared, and 9 dragon veins entwined with demonic energy rose behind him. A blood-colored steel fork in his hand stabbed at Long Chen. The power of the 9 dragon veins gathered in one shot, and he wanted to kill him with one blow. Kill Long Chen. However, in the face of the full blow of the demon powerhouse, Long Chen ignored it at all. With a big hand, the thunder net wrapped endless demon corpses and flew over. Snapped, as soon as the steel fork reached Long Chen, a big hand suddenly appeared, holding the steel fork, and Song Minjiwan's figure appeared. What? The strong demon was taken aback. His blow was powerful and heavy without any reservations, but the moment the steel fork was held by Song Mingyuan, his strength disappeared without a trace like a cow falling into the sea. Boom! Suddenly, there was an explosion behind the strong demon, and the 9 demon dragons ignited raging flames, and the demon energy shot up into the sky. The steel fork roared and exploded, and the majestic power rushed towards Song Mingyuan like a tsunami. Buzz! However, Song Mingyuan's big hand trembled slightly, and ripples appeared on the ground under his feet, and the nearby runes in the ripples spread in all directions like waves. You don't need to step on the ground, you can introduce the enemy's power into the ground, and use the power of the ground to absorb the power of destiny. Long Chen threw the body into the black soil of the chaotic space, and seeing Song Mingyuan's appearance, he couldn't help nodding secretly. Just as he expected, the current Song Mingyuan merged with the dragon soul, reseeded his edge, and comprehended the essence of the power of the earth. The power of destiny is strong, and the power of the earth is soft. This is the most typical use of softness to overcome rigidity. Song Mingyuan can quickly consume the power of the opponent's dragon veins without using his own original power. Today's Song Mingyuan's whole temperament has changed, less aggressive and decisive, more virtuous and calm. Holding the steel fork with bare hands, no matter how the opponent uses his strength, he will never move. With just one blow, Long Chen could tell that these people were far from Song Mingyuan's opponents. Buzz, seeing something bad, the other two strong demons suddenly flickered, one left and one right, and rushed towards Song Mingyuan at the same time, and two steel forks came through the air. Song Mingyuan held the steel fork in his right hand, and his left hand slowly formed a seal. Suddenly, the space trembled, and two groups of shields appeared on both sides of Song Mingyuan. The shield is dark yellow in color and is composed of countless thick earth runes. The shield is not big, with a diameter of only 3 feet and a thickness of only half a foot. Puff! Two steel forks pierced the shield at the same time. The steel forks pierced into the shield, the sharp fork tip pierced the shield, revealing half a foot of edge. However, this seemingly inconspicuous shield exhausted the strength of the two of them. Although the shield was pierced, it could not hurt Song Mingyuan. Seeing this scene, Long Chen couldn't help his heart beating wildly. Now Song Mingyuan has been completely reborn. This shield is just his most basic power of earth, but it can easily block the full blow of two nine-veined heavenly saints. Now Song Mingyuan's power has completely changed from attack to defense, and finally stimulated the strongest power of Ruelong. Long Chen couldn't imagine, if Song Mingyuan broke out with all his strength, what kind of level his defense power would reach. The powerhouses of the three major demon races were horrified. They no longer had the anger they had before, and their eyes were full of horror. Only now did they realize what a terrifying existence they had encountered. Buzz! Seeing that something was wrong, the three frantically took back their weapons. If they couldn't fight, fleeing would be the best choice. However, the weapons of the three were trapped by the force of the earth. Even though they desperately tried to get back their weapons, the weapons did not budge. Puff puff, suddenly 3 golden divine radiances pierced through the void, bringing out 3 rains of blood. The heads of the 3 strong demons were pierced by the golden divine radiance, and they were instantly killed. Long Chen was stunned for a moment, and when he looked back, he saw Guoran holding a giant golden crossbow, facing this side. Obviously, those 3 arrows were his masterpiece. Suddenly, the golden crossbow in Guoran's hand trembled violently, and a mass of arrows shot out. The endless arrows formed a torrent, rushing towards the camp of the strong demons like a tornado. Thousand-blade arrow, Guoran stopped drinking, and the torrent of arrows exploded among the strong demons. Puff puff! The torrent of arrows formed a huge vortex of arrows, and in the endless strangling of arrows, all the strong demons were killed in an instant. This move is fierce. Seeing this scene, Long Chen couldn't help being startled. Guoran is a good guy, he has never seen this move before. Not to mention the astonishing lethality of this move, the most important thing is that it did not use the power of the dragon veins, and completely killed a group of people with the power of the bow and arrows. As I said, I will make the boss look at me with admiration. Seeing Long Chen's shocked appearance, Guoran's vanity was satisfied like never before. This is a big killer move that I have been thinking about for a long time in Longyu. With Xia Chen's help, I finally completed it. I will test it today. The effect is very satisfactory. Guoran clapped his hands proudly. The golden crossbow. It's amazing, even the Bamai Tianxing can be killed instantly, which is a bit against the sky. Although he couldn't understand this guy's triumphant face, Long Chen was still in shock, and even couldn't understand, how could this move be so strong? This time, half a month's hard work is gone. At this moment, Xia Chen's figure appeared. Chapter 5675. The Thousand-Blade Arrow is a strange arrow created by Guoran in a whimsical way. In fact, he also has a name called the Thousand-Blade Sun Mother Arrow. 1,000 bursting arrows were integrated into an arrow with the power of space. The moment it was shot, the power of space was destroyed, and thousands of arrows appeared together. However, these 1,000 arrows were not fired indiscriminately. Among them, they were blessed according to a specific formation, and they were more effective as monarchs, ministers, assistants, and envoys. The so-called Jun is one of the most powerful bursting arrows. It is amazingly powerful and has a huge lethality. It is called the Jun arrow, which is equivalent to the Emperor's arrow. The arrow is mixed with more than 3,000 kinds of fairy gold materials, and the runes depicted are innumerable. Even when Guoran built it, he was very nervous, for fear that a mistake would blow him to nothing. Although it is powerful, if it is shot directly, the attacked can easily perceive the danger, so as to avoid or defend. No matter how powerful the killing move is, if it is perceived in advance, it will be difficult to cause effective killing. So this requires the cooperation of the minister's arrows. There are 72 minister's arrows in total, 36 of which are used to enhance the power of the monarch's arrow, and the other 36 are used to cover up the aura of the monarch's arrow and prevent the strong from giving birth. Fatal induction. Zhua arrows, a total of 360 pieces, they have different attributes, respectively with gold, wood, water, fire, earth, light, darkness, thunder, wind, and other energy. His goal is to confuse people, dazzle people, and at the same time make it harder to perceive Junjian, the big killer. As for the arrows, they are the arrows of perception and the arrows of guidance, and they are the most numerous among them. In fact, they have almost no lethality. Their function is to perceive the number and strength of the target, and they are equivalent to spies. They will lead the king's arrows to explode at the core where the most enemies and the strongest are concentrated. Because the arrow of thousands of people was designed for group battles, it can be said that this is Guoran's proud work, and it is also the pinnacle work, which took endless effort. To activate the thousand-blade arrow, one must have enough power of destiny. Now that Guoran has condensed 9 natal dragon veins, he can finally try his skills. Hey, I don't feel bad. If you don't try the power, how will you know if it will work? Guoran chuckled. Although it took half a month to make a 1,000-bladed arrow, seeing the power, everything was worth it. A group of 8-veined celestial saints can be killed instantly. Although these 8-veined celestial saints have been injured before and are not in their peak state, the 1,000-blade arrow is a hidden arrow, and they are caught off guard. Whether they are in their peak state has little effect. It's a pity that there was no heavenly sage Jumai in the team at that time, otherwise we would have known whether it was possible to kill heavenly Saint Jumai. If there is Jumai Tianxing in the team, under the guidance of Shi Jian, Jun Jian will definitely find the strongest to attack. It's amazing when he learned the complex principle of this arrow, Long Chen couldn't help admiring his face. Guoran's head is so smart that he can figure it out. It's really powerful, but if Guoran puts your mind into studying spells and supernatural powers, I believe there will be great breakthroughs. Song Mingyuan said, Teach, you know that I don't like to practice, but you still say that it's meaningless. The boss said, chickens don't pee, each has its own way. Who dares to say that I, Guoran, can't walk a new way? Guoran said disapprovingly. When did I say that? Long Chen was speechless for a while. Seeing that Guoran was still excited, Long Chen asked, By the way, how many arrows do you have? 8 pieces, 1 is used up, and there are 7 left, but you have seen the power of the boss, it is enough. Guoran said, Enough? You're overthinking. Long Chen shook his head and said, This guy doesn't know how many enemies he will face in the future. He thought he was only dealing with the monster race. It doesn't matter. I have already researched the making of a simple 1,000-bladed arrow. Its power is only half of it, but it can make hundreds of arrows a day. Guoran said. Long Chen couldn't help but be moved. Even if the power is only half, it's amazing enough, and it's a bit against the sky to be able to make hundreds of them a day. Then Guoran, work hard, hurry up and make more 1,000-bladed arrows, the more the better, prepare for an unprecedented battle. Long Chen said. Boss, don't worry. Seeing Long Chen's serious face, Guoran also realized the seriousness and immediately went back to Wanlong's nest to get busy. Long Chen collected all the corpses on the battlefield, returned to Wanlong's nest, and continued to move forward slowly. Boss, something is not right. It stands to reason that we will encounter many forces along the way? Xiachen looked at the situation outside Wanlong's nest and couldn't help but said. Because our speed is too slow, many forces have already reached Emperor Dao Nilin's side. Long Chen said. Then why didn't we go there sooner? Song Mingyuan asked. No need, even if we get there first, we still have to wait. When they get there, they can join the strong men of our clan, and we don't need to wait for helpers. If we get there first, we will become the target of public criticism. Everyone has not grown up and cannot stand this kind of war of attrition. Long Chen said. Although one step closer to Huangdao Nilin will gain more energy, but no matter how much energy, everyone can only absorb so much, because they are foreign powerhouses, and they cannot advance to the human emperor in the Tianmai profound realm. Because the laws here are different from those of the outside world. If you advance to the emperor here, you will be imprisoned by the laws here, and you must be here when you advance to the emperor. As for the Tianmai profound realm, no one knows how many years it takes to open it. If you advance here, it is tantamount to self-destructing your future. Since everyone's limit is Tianxing Dzogchen, it doesn't make any sense to go there earlier, because even on the way, you can still advance to Tianxing Dzogchen, and there is no one to disturb, much safer. The most important thing is that Emperor Dao Nilin has already discovered him. If Long Chen can't reach him, it is impossible for him to take any action. Therefore, everything about Emperor Dao Nilin is under Long Chen's control. In addition, Long Chen deliberately slowed down. On the one hand, it was to give everyone time to practice and prepare, and on the other hand, it was also time for Bai Shishir, Bai Xiaola, Yu Zifeng and others to meet up. Of course, if Emo Nian can come here, Long Chen's chances of winning will be better. Long Chen has a hunch that the battle for the Emperor's way against the scale will be an unprecedented bloody battle, and he dare not be careless. Boom! At this moment, the heavens and the earth suddenly resonated, thousands of roads roared, and the resounding sound of dragon chant resounded throughout the entire Tianmai profound realm. Are you impatient? When Long Chen heard that voice, his gaze instantly became sharp. Chapter 5676 The loud bang came from Emperor Dao Nilin. At this time, Emperor Dao Nilin's aura began to become violent and undulating. The space seemed to be washed by huge waves. The advancing 10,000 dragons' nest began to float up and down. Is he going to start? Long Chen murmured. Its evil power is getting stronger and stronger, which shows that before the Emperor's way against the scales, there are already mountains of bones and rivers of blood. It continues to release its evil power, mobilizing the desire to kill and possess in the hearts of all living beings. The more people die, the more benefits it will gain. It doesn't seem to want to wait for you anymore. It wants to turn passive into active, directly break through the seal, and come to you. Chaos Dragon Emperor said. I can't wait. If he breaks the seal and the dragon power disappears, my brothers, how can I advance to Dzogchen? Boom! After Long Chen finished speaking, one long nest trembled violently, and the speed began to increase, getting faster and faster, and finally moved forward like a galloping star. Before, Long Chen had been buying time for the Dragon Blood Warriors, just to advance to the perfect state before arriving. But this Emperor Dao Nilin is more anxious than Long Chen. If it accumulates enough power to break the seal, there will be no more dragon power to release. Boss. The 10,000 dragons' nest was flying fast, and at this time, Gu Yang woke up. Gu Yang, who had a perfect state of 9 veins, had blood as vast as a sea, and there were small dragons crawling faintly under his skin, full of energy, almost bursting out. Good fellow, the power of flesh and blood. Long Chen patted Gu Yang's strong shoulder hard, feeling the violent blood in his body. He couldn't help stretching out his thumb. At this time, Gu Yang was no longer the old Gu Yang. In addition to Guo Ran, Xia Chen, and Song Mingyuan, Gu Yang has also reached the completion of his 9 veins. Seeing their state, Long Chen felt proud. With such a group of powerful brothers, is there any enemy to fear in this world? And the 4 of them looked at each other, felt each other's powerful coercion, and they were all very excited. They practiced in the dragon realm and cleared all the levels in the Wanlong nest. Peerless and powerful enemies, they don't have any fear, but their blood is boiling. After practicing hard for so long and suffering so much, it's time for the world to witness the prestige of the Dragon Blood Legion. Boss, do you have any battle plan, or do you want to take care of us? Xia Chen said. Although Guo Ran is the commander-in-chief of the Dragon Blood Legion, Guo Ran and Xia Chen are actually deployed together. In terms of contribution, Xia Chen is more than Guo Ran. Because Guo Ran sometimes wants to show off, and often uses the name of support to show his strength. And Xia Chen has been silently contributing as a hero behind the scenes. At this time, Guo Ran is busy, and he needs to know more about the situation. Long Chen pondered for a while and said, "This battle is different from the past. Although they are all strong at the same level, there are too many monsters in the era of chaos. Although we are powerful, we cannot take it lightly. My goal is to win the Emperor's Dao Nilin, and if I want to win the Emperor's Dao Nilin, I need to defeat the terrifying existence sealed in Nilin. So, once I make a move, the pressure of the entire battlefield will instantly fall on you. Don't worry, boss, as long as we fight at the same level, our Dragon Blood Legion has never been afraid of anyone," Gu Yang said confidently. But Long Chen shook his head and said with a serious face, "This time is different from the past. As long as I know, there are several existences whose strength is comparable to mine." Many. The faces of Xia Chen and the others suddenly changed. They knew Long Chen's strength the most. It seemed that there were very few people who were qualified to fight one-on-one with Long Chen from the mortal world to the fairy world. They can compete with Long Chen, in their cognition, except for those old monsters who overwhelm people with their realm, there seemed to be few. But now, Long Chen said that there were several existences whose strength was comparable to his, which shocked them. Based on their understanding of Long Chen, he is not a person who likes to scare people. In this way, they will know how terrifying the opponent they are about to face is. The most important thing is that Long Chen mentioned in his tone that only he knows, then he doesn't know how many things he doesn't know. Does the boss have any plans? Xia Chen said. I don't have any plans right now. I can only make temporary plans when I see the Emperor's way is reversed. This time, our Dragon Blood Legion is different from the past. We should try our best to keep a low profile and preserve our strength. Even if we want to expose our strength, we should try our best to wait until after I win the Imperial Dao Nilin. Long Chen said, I'm afraid there's nothing we can do if we want to keep it. Xia Chen smiled wryly. Try your best. If you really can't do it, just procrastinate until I defeat Emperor Dao Nilin. Long Chen said, Boss, I didn't mean to disobey you. I was just a little unconvinced. Could it be that our Dragon Blood Legion can't protect ourselves if we work together, so we must wait for you to come back? Gu Yang couldn't help but said. At this time, his strength was unprecedentedly strong, and his self-confidence was also unprecedentedly strong, so he was a little unconvinced. Even if someone can compete with Long Chen, the Dragon Blood Legion is no longer what it used to be. If nothing else, who in the world can resist the Dragon Blood Cross / with a single attack? Although Xia Chen and Song Mingyuan also had the same idea, especially Song Mingyuan, he might not be able to kill people, but he had absolute confidence in defense. It's just that, out of respect for Long Chen, they held back the words when they came to their lips, and finally Gu Yang said it. If we are at the same level, we are naturally not afraid of anyone, but you have to know that in the practice world, not everyone is as helpless as us. Long Chen shook his head. You mean? Xia Chen was the first to understand Long Chen's meaning, and his face suddenly changed. But Song Mingyuan and Gu Yang were confused. They didn't understand the meaning of Long Chen's words. They turned their heads to look at Xia Chen. Xia Chen took a deep breath and spit out a name, Hell Dragon Peak. When they heard the name of Minglong Tianfeng, Song Mingyuan and Gu Yang finally changed their expressions. They were not afraid of Minglong Tianfeng, but the person behind Minglong Tianfeng was an existence that made everyone in the 9 heavens and 10 places fear. Will the Emperor of the Underworld also come to the heavenly vein profound realm? Gu Yang asked anxiously. He won't come, but when the Underworld Dragon Peak is here, the power of the Underworld Emperor will definitely descend from the air. Otherwise, the last time Minglong Tianfeng was beaten by the boss until he cried for his father and mother, how could he have the courage to challenge the boss? Xia Chen said. After Xia Chen reminded them, they remembered that before entering the Tianmai Xian realm, the scene of Minglong Tianfeng uttering wild words. It doesn't need to be said about the power of the dragon blood cross/. Are you sure you can kill the Underworld Dragon Peak possessed by the power of the Underworld Emperor? Long Chen asked. This? Gu Yang was speechless for a moment. The last time Minglong Tianfeng suffered a big loss, this time he provoked Long Chen so arrogantly he must have something to rely on. It seems difficult to kill him with one blow. But one blow can't kill Minglong Tianfeng, and the power consumption of the Dragon Blood Legion is too huge. If everyone looks around, it will be dangerous. Suddenly, Wanlong's nest trembled violently, and the defensive runes around Wanlong's nest reversed rapidly, forming a vortex. Someone hacked. Xia Chen couldn't help being shocked. Just as he was about to make a move, a voice suddenly came, "Don't be afraid, your own people." Chapter 5677. Long Chen and the others were shocked to discover that the space in front of them was distorted, and someone actually broke through the barrier of Wanlong's nest and entered the interior. However, when they saw the figure appearing in the distorted space, everyone was pleasantly surprised. I saw Bai Shishir and Bai Xiaolo walking out of the distorted space. When the 3-flower pattern in Bai Xiaolo's eyes slowly disappeared, the distorted space also disappeared. Bai Xiaolo looked excited, and the purple-eyed 9-tailed demon fox was lying on its shoulders. The purple in this little guy's pupils became more and more bewitching, and his aura became deeper. Bai Shishir had a tired look on her face, and her body was stained with blood. She should have just experienced a bloody battle. When he saw Bai Shishi's appearance, Long Chen's eyes showed a touch of distress. Obviously, Bai Shishir rushed back in a hurry, and came all the way in a bloody battle. Bai Shishir looked at Long Chen, a smile appeared on the corner of her mouth, and there was a trace of warmth in her beautiful eyes. Although Long Chen didn't speak, she could understand Long Chen's eyes. Sister poetry. She didn't know that Tang Weiner had just left the customs, but she had been paying attention to the movements here, and she appeared beside Bai Shishir, saying hello warmly. This was the second time Tang Weiner and Bai Shishir met. The first time, Tang Weiner was jealous and the scene was extremely embarrassing. But this time, Tang Weiner enthusiastically took Tang Weiner's hand and called her sister. This made Bai Shishir nervous and moved, and suddenly felt a little overwhelmed. "Sister, let me take you to change clothes," Tang Weiner said. She dragged Bai Shishir away. Bai Shishir was obviously very nervous. She didn't dare to face Tang Weiner alone, because from Long Chen's mouth, she had already learned that Tang Weiner was the most difficult one among Long Chen's many beauties. Bai Shishir was not afraid of the bloody battle with demons, but facing Tang Weiner alone, she felt a little uneasy. Seeing Bai Shishir looking at him, Long Chen smiled at her, signaling her not to worry. Tang Weiner has grown up. The last time, Tang Weiner lost her temper and felt extremely regretful in her heart. The more she thought about it, the more she felt that she was too childish, too vexatious, and even hated herself a little. Now that she saw Bai Shishir again, Tang Weiner finally found a chance to make amends, and she dragged Bai Shishir away. The power of space is so strong that even the space defense of Wanlong's nest can be easily broken. Fortunately, you are one of your own. If you are the enemy, it will be unimaginable. Looking at Bai Xiaolo, Xia Chen couldn't help but sigh. Bai Xiaole's power of space became more and more unpredictable. From Xia Chen's perception of the enemy to Bai Xiaole breaking the barrier, it took almost a blink of an eye, and there was no time to react. Hee, this is not due to me alone. It is Xiaojiu who found the inheritance belonging to its lineage, and I just borrowed all of it. Bai Xiaole said with a chuckle. To everyone's surprise, Xiaojiu didn't say a word, and her purple pupils kept looking at Long Chen and the others. Its eyes were as sharp as knives, which made Xia Chen and the others frown slightly. Xiaojiu seemed to have changed a little. Boss, Xiaojiu has integrated the bloodlines and supernatural powers of the ancestors, and also integrated their natal runes. It seems to be influenced by the ancestors, which makes it a little lonely now. Seeing Xiaojiu's aloof appearance, Bai Xiaole said in embarrassment, the current Xiaojiu is not a little arrogant, but a little aloof. Long Chen looked at the purple-eyed nine-tailed demon fox, and a smile gradually appeared on the corner of his mouth. Long Chen could tell that this guy was not aloof, but rather swollen. The so-called being influenced by the ancestors is all nonsense. This shows that the proud blood of the Xiaojiu Zitong nine-tailed demon fox clan has begun to awaken, just like a down-and-out prince who finally sat on his throne. Don't worry, with me here, no one in Time Meixuan can threaten you. Xiaojiu finally spoke, and the moment he opened his mouth, he was full of arrogance. Hearing Xiaojiu's words, Xia Chen, Gu Yang, and Song Mingyuan frowned even tighter. The little guy's tone was so crazy that he was a little out of bounds. Bai Xiaole is not a fool, he also knows that Xiaojiu is a little too crazy now, but he has no choice but to look at Long Chen. Long Chen smiled slightly. It can be seen that Xiaojiu's current strength has risen to an unprecedented height. This is very good, and I have nothing to worry about. Why worry? Xiaojiu's purple pupils flashed a trace of doubt. Because the mortal enemy of your purple-eyed nine-tailed demon fox clan appeared. Sky Demon and Golden Monkey family? Xiaojiu's eyes became sharp in an instant, and the violent demonic aura surged. Even if he was as strong as Gu Yang, he was oppressed by that aura and had difficulty breathing. This is just a breath released at will. Gu Yang and the others tremble. No wonder Xiaojiu is so inflated. This strength is really amazing. That's right, they have appeared, and there are a lot of them. The leader is Ho Tianwu, the prince of the Heavenly Demon and Golden Monkey clan, and his strength is very strong. Long Chen said, where are they? I'll kill them now. Xiaojiu gritted his teeth. You don't need to look for them. They will meet us soon. You just need to recharge your batteries and maintain your peak combat power. It's best to catch them all when the time comes. Long Chen said. Good, Xiaojiu nodded, and slowly closed her eyes. Boss. Seeing Xiaojiu in meditation, Bai Xiaole looked apologetic. Xiaojiu's current appearance made him very annoyed, but they were partners with interlinked souls, and they had made a contract of life and death. No one could abandon the other, so he could only bear with it. Now Xiaojiu's arrogance made Gu Yang and others unhappy, which made him very embarrassed, but there was nothing he could do. Long Chen patted Bai Xiaole's shoulder and said, inflated confidence is not a bad thing. It shows that it has absolute confidence in its own strength. This is exactly what you lack. You have grown up in various blows since you were young, resulting in a lack of confidence. The two of you can just complement each other. Companionship and companionship for a lifetime. If there is a problem, you should think of two people to communicate, understand and tolerate each other, and not have extreme ideas. Based on Long Chen's understanding of Bai Xiaole, if Xiaojiu continues to expand, he may give up Xiaojiu and terminate the contract with it. This is an extremely negative and extremely irresponsible approach. To put it bluntly, whether it is Bai Xiaole or Xiaojiu, they are still children, and their minds are not mature enough. Hearing what Long Chen said, Bai Xiaole felt more at ease. He looked at the little fox who had already settled down and said, I'm worried that it's too inflated, and I want to challenge your authority, boss. Huh? As soon as Bai Xiaole said this, Long Chen, Gu Yang and others all laughed. Long Chen said with a smile, it doesn't matter, if it can defeat me, I am very happy to hand over the burden on my shoulders to it. What makes you laugh so hard? At this moment, Tang Weiner and Bai Shishir came. When Long Chen saw Bai Shishir, his eyes were full of astonishment. Chapter 5678. I saw Bai Shishir wearing a golden long dress, which was luxurious and holy, and the long skirt fit well, showing Bai Shishi's tall and exquisite curves. Bai Shishir already had a beautiful posture, but wearing this long skirt, she looked even more noble and not to be profaned, like a goddess of 9 heavens walking into the mortal world. Bai Shishi's pretty face was flushed, and she looked a little shy, with 3 points of shyness, 3 points of apprehension, and at the same time, 3 points of expectation. When she saw Long Chen's astonishing eyes, her heart was full of satisfaction, and she could be amazed by what she liked. People, that is an indescribable happiness. Is it pretty? Bai Shishir asked authentically when she came to Long Chen. Pretty, and a perfect match with you. Long Chen praised. People rely on clothes and horses rely on saddles, and one can see through one's appearance. Bai Shishir was already pretty enough, but now, under the backdrop of this costume, Long Chen couldn't help but feel his heart swaying. Weiner made it. Bai Shishir giggled. Long Chen immediately opened his mouth wide, and he looked at Tang Weiner in disbelief. Obviously, this long dress is so complicated, I don't know how much effort it takes. Tang Weiner looked at Long Chen, and blinked her eyes playfully. At that moment, Long Chen almost cried while hugging this girl, but when she suddenly grew up, Long Chen became worried about gains and losses. Tang Weiner had a heart, and she showed her favor to Bai Shishir in this way, which was tantamount to apologizing for what happened last time. And Bai Shishir was also very moved. She was a little apprehensive when facing Long Chen's other confidant. She just got acquainted with Yu Qingxian and then separated again. Regarding Long Chen's many confidant friends, she was worried about gains and losses, for fear that she would not get their approval and be excluded. For this matter, Bai Shishir, who has always been strong, cried in secret countless times. Only now did she understand that falling in love with someone is not only sweet, but also painful. Now, Tang Weiner's overtures to her immediately moved Bai Shishir so much that she almost shed tears on the spot. Forcibly feeding dog food like this is a bit immoral. Xia Chen saw the 3 people's eyes were red, and they were secretly looking at each other. He couldn't stand it anymore and couldn't help but said. When Xia Chen said this, Bai Shishi's face turned even redder. Tang Weiner rolled her eyes at Xia Chen and said, "Don't think I don't know, you're having a hot fight with one of my sisters right now." "What else? Who is it?" When Long Chen heard this, he immediately became interested. Xia Chen, a guy with a frozen heart, unexpectedly met his second spring. Cough, cough, Miss Weiner, I have to say, this dress of yours is really well made, the material, the workmanship, the style, it's unspeakable. Afraid of being exposed, Xia Chen hurriedly changing the topic. This guy's face turned a little red. Xia Chen's nervous appearance immediately made Gu Yang and Song Mingyuan laugh out loud. Tang Weiner said, "Gu Yang, Mingyuan, you two don't have to laugh, if you want me to talk about you too. Boss, I think the battle plan still needs to be planned in detail. I'll go back and study it first." When Gu Yang and Song Mingyuan saw that the spearhead was pointed at them, they immediately became nervous and ran away in a panic. Xia Chen also found an excuse to slip away, and Bai Xiaolo was not stupid. It was not appropriate to stay here at this time. The excuse was to strengthen his cultivation. Also left. Finally, the 3 of Long Chen were left here. Long Chen suddenly opened his arms and embraced the slender waist of the 2 girls at the same time. Bai Shishir and Tang Weiner exclaimed at the same time. Their pretty faces were hot, and they hurriedly buried their faces in Long Chen's shoulders here. I dare not look at anything with my eyes closed. Smelling each other's breath, feeling each other's heartbeat, a boulder in Long Chen's heart fell to the ground. For Tang Weiner, Long Chen was full of gratitude. No, he was full of gratitude for every confidant. Which one of them is not the girl of heaven? Which one is not the most beautiful country? She fell in love with him, a man who couldn't give them a future, and was more willing to entrust everything to him. This kind of love, even if the body is smashed to pieces, it is difficult to repay them. It is simply the greatest evil to wrong a beautiful woman. At first, Bai Shishir and Tang Weiner were a little shy, but feeling Long Chen's heartbeat, they gradually felt the tenderness deep in Long Chen's soul, and the two slowly reached out and hugged Long Chen. Although we clearly know that the road ahead is long and dangerous, everyone is like a candle in the wind, which may be extinguished at any time. But as long as you have each other in your heart, why be afraid of the danger ahead? Even if we step into the door of death together, as long as there is a loved one with us, everything is enough. Boom! Suddenly Wanlong Nest trembled, a strong resistance emerged, and countless figures appeared in front of it. Taoist divine lights blocked the direction of Wanlong Nest, and Wanlong Nest slowed down. It turned out that there were countless strong men gathered in front of them, and the 10,000 dragon nest was advancing in a straight line, just flying over the heads of this group of creatures, which angered the group of strong men, and Dao Daoshan Hui slashed on the 10,000 dragon nest, slowing down the speed of the 10,000 dragon nest. However, these people didn't know the origin of the Wanlong Nest, and they didn't kill them. Those attacks were just to block the speed of the Wanlong Nest, divert the Wanlong Nest, and at the same time, it was a kind of temptation for the Wanlong Nest. The warm atmosphere was broken, and Long Chen could only helplessly let go of the second daughter. At this moment, a cold drink came from the front. Friends of the Dragon Clan, just flying over our heads like this, don't you look down on our Shadow Stone Spirit Clan too much? It was only then that Long Chen noticed that these creatures were tall. They turned out to be a group of stone giants. Each of them was several feet tall, and their bodies were covered with dark runes. These dark runes exude a powerful evil aura, but their skin is originally dark, and with these dark runes, it is difficult to find them from the sky. When Wanlong's Nest broke into their territory, they stood up one by one from the ground, like stone hills, with no end in sight at a glance. It turned out that this group of Shadow Stone Spirit powerhouses adjusted their status here. It is estimated that they came here after a long-distance raid. They knew that there would be a big battle, so they adjusted and rested here. Originally, Wanlong's Nest flew by, but they thought it was a kind of humiliation and provocation to them, so they directly stopped Wanlong's Nest. What is the origin of the Shadow Stone Spirit? Tang Weiner asked. The vicious spirits in the spirit race have powerful defenses, and their destructive power and endurance are also terrifying. Even though they are spirit races, they are very evil. They like to devour the blood of living beings. They are a notorious group of evil races. Long Chen said. Boom! Facing this group of vicious spirits, Long Chen drove Wanlong's Nest, rushing forward without avoiding it. If it was another race, Long Chen might consider going around, but this is a group of vicious spirits who do all kinds of evil, so Long Chen naturally doesn't need to get used to them. Court Death. The strong men of the Shadow Stone Spirit Clan saw that they had revealed their identities, but the opponents still insisted on flying over their heads, and they were furious. Countless strong men of the Stone Spirit Clan roared at the same time and put on a fighting stance. Let me meet them. Bai Shishir volunteered and was about to fight. At this time, Li Qi's voice came, "Leave these people to me." Before Long Chen could reply, Li Qi's figure had already appeared in front of Wanlong's Nest. When he appeared, the faces of the experts from the Shadow Stone Spirit Clan changed instantly. Chapter 5679. When Li Qi appeared, the powerhouses of the Shadow Stone Spirit Clan suddenly felt a suffocating fear rushing towards their faces. At this time, Li Qi had already condensed 6 natal dragon veins, each of which was full of murderous aura, and there was no trace of emotion in his cold eyes. Li Qi's aura no longer has the sense of virtue and responsibility of the power of the earth, but it is full of violent violence that breaks through the tough, which makes people feel awe. Bai Shishir, Tang Weiner, Gu Yang, and Xiachen saw Li Qi like this for the first time, and they were all taken aback. Is this the Li Qi they knew? At this time, Li Qi was unsmiling, lacking his usual modesty, and becoming a bit more ruthless and violent, as if he had changed into a different person. Wok, the leader of the Shadow Stone Spirit Clan, sensed something was wrong, waved his hand and ordered to retreat. I want to leave now, it's too late. Call, Li Qi stepped forward, and he was already in front of the strong man of the Shadow Stone Spirit clan, and he punched hard. Li Qi's fist was covered with crystals, and the bright divine light was like a small sun, which made people unable to open their eyes. Too much deception. Since you want to die, I will help you. The leader of the Shadow Stone Spirit clan had a kind of fear from the depths of his soul towards Li Qi, thinking that he would always be able to hide if he couldn't be provoked, but he didn't expect that Li Qi would never let them go, so he couldn't help being furious. The patriarch of the Shadow Stone Spirit clan stopped shouting, 9 dragon veins erupted, and he also punched Li Qi fiercely. 9 meridians versus 6 meridians. Tang Weiner and the others couldn't help but feel worried about Li Qi. The gap between the realms of the two was too great, and they all thought that Li Qi would suffer a big loss. Only Long Chen was not nervous, and his eyes were full of anticipation. Boom! What surprised Tang Weiner and the others was that Li Qi punched out, and the strong man of the Shadow Stone Spirit clan exploded, turning into endless stone chips. This? Xia Chen was shocked by Li Qi's blow and opened his mouth wide. He couldn't believe his eyes. When did Li Qi become so terrifying? The Stone Spirit clan, which had condensed 9 natal veins and was known for its defensive power, was killed by Li Qi with one punch. I understand, Li Qi's crystal power is designed to overcome the power of the Shirling clan. Song Mingyuan looked enlightened. Long Chen nodded and said, that's right, the power of crystal and the power of stone are both the most violent and hardest power. When 2 people fight against each other, whoever has the stronger power wins. It's simple and clear. This is like 2 stones colliding, and it depends on who is stronger. Li Qi knocked out his opponent with one punch, which means that Li Qi's crystal power is far stronger than the opponent's stone power. If the power of the Shadow Stone Spirit clan is completely suppressed, then the difference in the dragon energy of the 3 Tianmai can be ignored. Call, the Shadow Stone Spirit was crushed by Li Qi's fist, and a mass of dark red energy emerged from the sky and the earth. It was the essence of its life. The Stone Spirit family has no blood, so the red energy is its stone marrow, the energy of its life. At the place where they gathered, the stone marrow just appeared, and was swallowed by the dragon veins behind Li Qi. When the dragon veins swallowed the stone marrow, his whole body turned red instantly, his breath became more violent, and even his eyes became blood red, full of bloodthirsty madness. Li Qi is going to turn into a monster. Feeling the violent breath of Li Kailong's veins, Xia Chen couldn't help being clever. This guy is a bit scary now. Long Chen looked at Li Qi. Everything was as he expected. When the power he mastered changed, his personality would also change. Crystal Dragon Burial, Li Qi killed the strong member of the Shadow Stone Spirit family with one blow, and suddenly his hands formed seals, and his big hands slammed on the ground. Boom! The ground trembled violently, and the 6 dragon veins behind Li Qi galloped along the ground in 6 directions. Boom boom boom. Where the dragon veins passed, the earth turned into crystal stones, and the strong members of the Shadow Stone Spirit family were affected by the crystal stones, and their bodies exploded instantly. With one blow, all the powerhouses of the endless Shadow Stone Spirit family were killed, and the ground was covered with jagged rocks, which were their corpses. The stone marrow emerged from the void, and all of it was swallowed by the dragon veins behind Li Qi. At that moment, Xia Chen and the others were dumbfounded. Li Qi's blow was too terrifying. As long as they have a little bit of flexibility, they won't die so badly. Song Mingyuan looked at the endless stones and couldn't help but sigh. Stiffness is easy to break, and this blow was performed vividly. Long Chen said, then if Li Qi meets someone stronger and tougher than him. Xia Chen's face suddenly changed. This is Li Qi's strongest point, but also his weakest point. If someone possessed more crystal power than Li Qi, wouldn't Li Qi end up with the Shadow Stone Spirit clan? Won't? Song Mingyuan said very firmly. Why? Xia Chen asked. Because he has me. When the boss gave Li Qijing the power, he had already made arrangements. Song Mingyuan laughed. Long Chen also laughed. Originally, Li Qi and Song Mingyuan had always been strong earth elements, and they had cooperated with each other for countless years. In terms of tacit understanding, They were the strongest in the Dragon Blood Legion. Now, the two of them are strong and soft, attacking and defending. They will be the most powerful spear and shield of the Dragon Blood Legion. In this way, Gu Yang, Yu Zifeng and others can completely let go of their hands and feet. The combat power of the Legion will be raised to an unprecedented new height. Buzz! Suddenly, the dragon veins on Li Qi's back flashed rapidly and became extremely violent. Li Qi was startled and hurriedly said to everyone, "Boss, they are about to break through. I have to suppress them quickly, excuse me." Li Qi's figure disappeared in an instant, and he returned to Wanlong's nest. Long Chen knew that Li Qi's dragon veins had devoured a large amount of stone marrow power. If he didn't suppress it, Li Qi would quickly break through to the 9 Meridians Heavenly Sage. Li Qi needs these forces to be suppressed and absorbed bit by bit, so as not to turn their backs and cause the power of the dragon veins to be vain and affect the foundation. It was only a blink of an eye for Li Qi to come and go, but the shock it brought to everyone was too great. Great, this way we will have more confidence. Gu Yang clenched his fists and said excitedly, "Li Qi, the heavenly sage of the 6 meridians, has such terrifying power. If he advances to the 9 meridians, no one knows how strong he will be. Fortunately, he has become just breath, and his heart has not changed." Xiachen laughed. Li Qi shot just now, which made him feel strange, but when he looked at the crowd, Xiachen was sure that he was still the same Li Qi. He was worried before that if Li Qi's self-confidence also inflated, like Xiao Jiao, then he would feel very uncomfortable. Xiao Jiao will soon return to the right path. As long as the boss is around, he won't be able to swell for long. Besides, Xiao Jiao has been with us for so long, and finally got a chance when he met Xiaola, an unbelievable master, so why not swell up a bit? It's Chinese New Year, who doesn't eat dumplings? Song Mingyuan laughed. When Song Mingyuan said this, everyone laughed. The purple-eyed 9-tailed demon fox was reluctant to recognize Xiao Lu as its master at the beginning. Xiao Le's character was too weak, and Xiao Jiao didn't like it very much. After being moved, he was willing to share life and death with by Xiaola. However, the purple-eyed 9-tailed demon fox family is a proud royal family, and Xiao Jiao's blood is full of pride. It is still very unwilling to be exposed to such a weak master. It wants to be appreciated and respected. But in the Dragon Blood Legion, there are too many monsters, it is too difficult to gain appreciation, and it is almost impossible to gain respect. Because the atmosphere of the Dragon Blood Legion is like this, they are all brothers, how can there be any awe? No matter what your identity or status is, even if Long Chen is in the Dragon Blood Legion, he is just like ordinary people and has no sense of class. This makes Xiao Jiao a little uncomfortable. It feels that he is too ordinary, and ordinary people have no sense of existence. Now that it is powerful, it wants to gain more attention and appreciation. Only in this way can it feel the meaning of its existence. Long Chen said that the more deliberately a person expresses something, the more he lacks something. Xiao Jiao did this to cover up his inferiority complex. Now that Long Chen's words immediately untied everyone's knots, Xiao Jiao's previous arrogance felt that this little guy was a little cute. Just as everyone was joking, Wanlong Nest trembled suddenly, passing through an invisible barrier, and then Long Chen and others saw a scene that they would never forget. Chapter 5680 The Purple Earth came into view, and the whole world was rendered into a purple world by the divine splendor of the earth. This kind of purple is extremely rich, but not coquettish, with endless honor, shone on the body by the purple divine brilliance, as if endowed with a noble status by heaven and earth, as if wearing an invisible crown. From now on, you can look down on the universe and look down on everyone's sky. The purple world seems to have a radius of only 10,000 miles, because Long Chen can clearly feel its edge. But when entering this purple world, this world seems to be boundless and can accommodate the entire Tianyuan world, which is an extremely contradictory feeling. Long Chen knew that the reason for this phenomenon was that either the space was distorted or the time was distorted. This purple world contained laws that he had never touched before. At the heart of the purple world, a purple sun hangs in the sky, too bright to be seen with the eyes. Around the purple sun, endless dragon-shaped runes were flying, and the low roar of the giant dragon could be faintly heard, like rolling thunder coming from across the sky, which made people's hearts sway and their souls tremble. The vast dragon's power is constantly being released, and the sacred power is gushing out from the purple sun, like a stormy sea, constantly washing the sky and the earth. The power of the dragon in the purple world is so thick that it can almost condense into fog. Entering here, the power of the dragon vein that Long Chen has been stagnant has a scene that is about to move. Is that the Emperor's Dao Nilin? When they saw the purple sun in the core of the purple world, Xia Chen and the others couldn't help but gasp. Although they had already prepared in their hearts that Emperor Dao Nilin must contain astonishing power, they never imagined that its power could be so strong. In front of the purple sun, Song Mingyuan, Xia Chen, Gu Yang and others who had just advanced to the rank of Jumai Tianxing felt as small as ants, and the oppressive feeling was simply desperate. It probably has the power to destroy the entire heavenly vein profound realm. Tang Weiner looked at the purple sun, her voice trembling. Among the crowd, only she has quietly condensed 11 natal veins, and her perception is even temporarily surpassed by Long Chen. It was because of her strong perception that she became more and more frightened. Only she and Long Chen could truly feel its horror. Gu Yang, Song Mingyuan, Xia Chen and others, you look at me, I look at you, everyone shut their mouths tightly. Bai Shishir looked at Long Chen, then at Tang Weiner, wanted to say something, but finally closed her mouth. In fact, they all came up with an idea, that is to give up the Emperor's way against the scales, and after absorbing the power of the dragon here, everyone will advance to the Jumai Tianxing, then they have already made a lot of money. Whether it is Gu Yang, Song Mingyuan, Xia Chen or Tang Weiner, they are all strong men who have experienced many battles. When they saw the Emperor's way against the scale, they all had a premonition that this Emperor's way against the scale, no one it can be surrendered, even if it is gathered within the Tianmai Shen territory, everyone's strength will not work. The power of Emperor Dao Nilin has a dimensional gap with them, and there are so many people staring at it. If they grab it hard, it will definitely cause huge casualties, and in the end no one will get it. This is the perception and prediction formed by the strong after countless life and death battles. But Long Chen is determined to win the imperial way, so they can only hold back what is in their hearts and dare not say it. Long Chen looked at the purple sun, and suddenly the purple sun trembled slightly, and the fierce purple light burst into flames, and the temperature of the entire space began to soar slowly. And at that moment, Tang Weiner, Gu Yang and the others felt their hairs stand on end and their scalps tingled, and they were shocked to find that the Emperor's Dao Nilins will seem to lock them in. Long Chen looked at the purple Emperor Dao Nilin, a smile gradually appeared on his face. He turned his head to look at Gu Yang and the others and said, "Don't worry, we have a chance. If you don't fight for some things, how will you know if you can do it?" Seeing what Long Chen said, Gu Yang and the others nodded. Since the boss has made the decision, there is no need to say anything. Just let everyone rush together. When has the Dragon Blood Legion ever been afraid? Wanlong's nest moved forward slowly, but as Long Chen expected, the space world that comes with the Imperial Dao Nilin is too big, and it looks very close, but Wanlong's nest flew for a full hour, and it was far away from the Imperial Dao Nilin. They're still half the way. At this time, countless figures appeared in front of them, from all races, each guarding their own territory, using the laws here to improve themselves. Looking at the ground, even the purple divine splendor could not hide the deep red blood on the ground, and the pungent bloody smell rushed towards his face. Obviously, any force that wants to occupy a territory here will have to pay a considerable price. The closer one gets to the Emperor's Dao Nilin, the more benefits one gets, and correspondingly, the fiercer the competition. As Wanlong's nest moved forward, the first encounters were all mediocre beings, and they could only practice in the marginal areas. If they encounter a powerful force coming, they will choose to give way immediately. If the original position is occupied by someone, they will take a step back and not conflict with others. The moment Wanlong's nest appeared, the peripheral forces knew at a glance that this was a master who was not easy to mess with, and stepped aside one after another to show their attitude. This group of people has also seen the big world. There have been countless forces who forcibly broke in before. They either forced a piece of land or wiped out the entire army. There is almost no third choice. When they saw the arrival of Wanlong's nest, many people's eyes became excited, and they were not easy to mess with. In this way, a bloody battle was inevitable, and there was another good show to watch. They have self-knowledge. No matter who can get the Imperial Dao Nilin, it will not be their turn anyway. As a spectator, of course, the harder others kill, the happier they will be. Good guy, there are really many people. When Xiachen looked at the piles of figures stretching all the way to the bottom of the Emperor's Dao Nilin, even though he was used to seeing big scenes, he couldn't help but gasp. Every bundle of people ranges from millions to tens of millions, and the number of strong people cannot be counted at all. The further forward, the stronger the strength of these forces. At the beginning, there were not many natal celestial saints, and the natal 9-vein celestial saints were even rarer. However, halfway through the journey, the number of natal celestial sages gradually increased, and the 9-vein celestial sages are no longer rare existences. There are so many of them in any force. When they got here, some forces were reluctant to give way. Obviously, the breath of Wanlong Nest could not deter them. Some forces didn't move at all, allowing Wanlong Nest to fly over their heads. Obviously, these forces were more confident, and felt that even if Wanlong Nest attacked them, they would still be able to fight. They were afraid to give way, and Wanlong's nest would fall directly on their territory. In this way, they would either grab the territory with Wanlong's nest, or grab the territory with others, or they could only swallow their anger and take a step back. Their behavior, also a deterrent. Boom! Wanlong's nest was moving forward, and at this time it was gradually approaching the Imperial Road Nilin, and now no one gave up. When Wanlong's nest arrived, they all put on a fighting posture, ready to fight at any time. And here, all are powerful forces, monsters are rampant, and the 9-veins heavenly saint-level powerhouse is nothing new at all. In some forces, there are no less than 100 people of this level. But facing the terrifying Wanlong Nest, they were also worried, for fear that Wanlong Nest would stare at their territory. Wanlong's nest was speeding slowly, and the strong men in a line had their hearts raised in their throats. Goran, come out, it's your turn to perform. Long Chen shouted into Wanlong's nest. Chapter 5681. In the Purple World, countless forces watched the 10,000 dragons' nest slowly marching in fear. They didn't know which branch of the Dragon Clan was in the 10,000 dragons' nest. Hey, Dragon Clan, you are going in the wrong direction. Your Dragon Clan's territory is on the opposite side, crossing the Xiang world, and you will die a miserable death. At this time, a deep voice came from the front. In front of them, there is a group of unknown creatures. No matter they are male or female, they are all tall and strong, with big ears and shoulders, and there is no grass on their heads, and their energy and blood are amazing. One of the strong men should be their leader. The 9 Meridians Heavenly Sage had an extremely powerful aura, and shouted at Wanlong Nest. Obviously they were not afraid of Wanlong's nest, but Wanlong's nest flew over their heads, which made them feel a little uncomfortable, so they reminded them. It turned out that the top powerhouses of the major forces occupied the best position in front of Nilin of the Emperor's Dao. There is a purple circle of light around the Emperor's Dao Nilin, which is a forbidden area. If you step through the purple circle, you will be crushed by the law of terror. If you touch it, you will die. There are powerful monsters who do not believe in evil, but he used his life to tell everyone, what? If you don't die, you won't die. On the periphery of Emperor Dao Nilin, the circle of hundreds of thousands of miles is an insurmountable gap. The closer to this purple circle of light, the more energy it can absorb. Therefore, near the aperture, all the top powerhouses gather, among which the Dragon Clan occupies a territory. Because they are dragons, they absorb power the fastest and increase the most. The most important thing is that there are so many dragons that no one wants to provoke them. The Dragon Clan has its own exclusive territory, so the strong Dragon Clan will approach the Imperial Dao Nilin from that direction, but this Wanlong Nest does the opposite. which immediately arouses dissatisfaction. And how does Long Chen know that there is a dragon clan on the opposite side? Even if there is a dragon clan, it has nothing to do with him. Today's dragon clan is already a mess, and he has to rely on his fists to speak when he goes there. Who will die miserably? At this moment, an arrogant voice came from the 10,000 Dragons' Nest, and Guoran was seen arrogantly standing on the 10,000 Dragons' Nest, looking down at the group of creatures with his nostrils. Human race. When they saw Guoran, the group of creatures were startled and angry. It turned out that the 10,000 Dragons' Nest was not controlled by dragons, but by a group of humans. Damn it, it lied to your grandpa. Among the creatures, a 9-meridian heaven sage shouted angrily, stomped his foot on the ground, and rushed towards Guoran like a shooting star. Die. As soon as the creature punched out, the power of the 9 veins rose, the runes surged, and it slammed at Guoran's face. Boom! The creature punched Guoran's face, but at the moment of contact, a golden helmet appeared on Guoran's head, and the punch hit the helmet. To everyone's horror, the creature's fist was shattered abruptly, and it flew backwards with a scream. Guoran forcibly endured the blow, remained motionless, and stood with his hands behind his back, without saying a word. Why bother? Seeing this scene, Xia Chen couldn't help shrinking her neck. Guoran's battle armor is the latest improvement, incorporating endless dragon patterns. Now Guoran is already a 9-veined heavenly sage, and he can fully arouse the full power of the battle armor. However, Guoran's battle armor is a set. Although the helmet has a complete formation, without other accessories, the defense will be greatly reduced. On the surface, Guoran remained motionless and smashed the opponent's arm with his helmet, but Xia Chen knew that this huge countershock force would definitely make this guy stare at him. Guoran didn't move or speak, he was adjusting his state. After all, he was the 9-meridian heavenly sage, and none of the people who could come to this position were vegetarians, and all of them were the best of the best. After one breath, Guoran finally spoke, and said in an impatient voice, "That's it? Are you going to continue?" As soon as Guoran opened his mouth, the creature was shocked and angry, but he was not a fool. He knew that this iron-headed weirdo was not easy to mess with. His shoulders trembled, and his shattered arm recovered instantly. He stared at Guoran, gritted his teeth, and said, "A despicable human race. What else can you do besides playing tricks and stabbing people in the back?" With a big wave of his hand, he took a long-handled saber in his hand, stepped forward with one step, concentrated all his strength on the long saber, and slashed down the sky with one stroke, slashing down on Guoran's head. Snapped, however, when his knife hit the top of Guoran's head, a golden steel hand grabbed the blade. The palm and forearm of Guoran's right hand were covered with golden battle armor. He still didn't summon other parts, but he easily blocked the knife. With a weapon made by the human race, you have the face to scold the human race. You are such a beast. Guoran looked at the creature coldly. Snap! Suddenly he used force with his big hand, and the long knife was broken by him abruptly, and then the light of the knife flashed, a head shot up into the sky, and the creature was instantly killed. Let's go together and kill him. When the group of creatures saw Guoran kill their people, their murderous intent surged to the sky, and millions of strong men rushed to Wanlong's nest at the same time. After Guoran killed the creature, he held an apple-sized bead in his other hand and slowly threw it out. Guoran's movements were natural and smooth. The group of creatures had just left the ground when the bead had already landed among them. Bloom. Devouring God Orb. As Guoran's cold drink mixed with metallic vibrato resounded throughout the world, the bead burst open, and a lotus flower bloomed faintly, and in the endless flames and thunder, sharp blades mixed with each other shot out. This guy. When he saw Guoran's blow, Long Chen was stunned. This kid actually imitated his thunder and fire destroyer. Guoran does not have the power of thunder and fire, but he has collected the divine iron that contains the power of thunder and fire, and blessed the thunder and fire runes. Puff puff. The thunder and fire swallowed the void, and countless creatures screamed and were torn into pieces. The natal sages below the 6th meridian were all killed. The creatures above the 6 meridians were severely injured, and the celestial saints of the 9 meridians were also pierced through the body by fragments. Thousand-blade arrow, however, before they could catch their breath, Guaran shot out an arrow with a golden crossbow in his hand, and the endless vortex of arrows devoured all living beings. The arrows hit their heads precisely, and even the 9 meridians' heavenly sage could not escape, and all of them were killed. After the arrows raged, the ground was full of corpses. At that moment, the strong men around were all shocked that such a terrifying group of creatures were wiped out in an instant. Guaran threw the golden crossbow on his shoulder and shouted coldly, "My Dragon Blood Legion is determined to win this imperial way, and there will be an unprecedented bloody battle soon. If anyone wants to stop my Dragon Blood Legion from advancing, don't blame me, Guaran, for being cruel. Of course, if anyone feels dissatisfied with the reincarnation, our Dragon Blood Legion doesn't mind sending you back to the furnace to rebuild. In a word, if you don't have that ambition for Emperor Dao Nilin, you should quickly get out of the way." Guaran's words were extremely arrogant, carrying the coercion of destroying a terrorist force with a wave of his hand, which made countless powerful men fear him. Boom! The Wanlong nest continued to move forward. Guaran stood on the Wanlong nest, holding a golden crossbow, looking down on all living beings, with indescribable arrogance and domineering. However, at this time, everyone was shocked by Guaran's aura, and they honestly gave way, expressing that they had no intention of interfering with the imperial way. Dragon Blood Legion, right? Longchen, have you washed your neck? At this moment, a disdainful sneer came from the depths of the purple world. Chapter 5682. That voice came from the air. The sound was not loud, but it could resonate with the heaven and the earth, just like a god whispering, resonating with all Taos. It made people feel awe from the depths of their souls. Who is this voice? Xiachen couldn't help asking. Brahma. Longchen smiled slightly. Everyone was shocked. They had learned about Brahma's virtue from Longchen before. The son of Brahma just yelled a word from the air, but the surging divine power contained in the words was shocking. "Boss, how should I answer him?" Guaran asked. "Whatever." Longchen said calmly. Fan Tianda was attacked by Longchen and suffered a great loss. He was full of anger in his heart, and it was normal to fight with each other. Hearing Longchen's acquiescence, Guaran was full of confidence and shouted in the direction of the voice. "You are the one called Brahma, right? You are called the son of Brahma? What qualifications do you have to challenge my boss? If you can survive 10 tricks in my hands, I will let your son have my last name." "What are you?" Brahma's sneer came. Traveling across the world and crossing thousands of mountains, the heaven and the earth are turbulent. Slaying demons and picking up stars and moons. There is Guaran who destroys immortals and gods. I am the commander-in-chief of the Dragon Blood Legion. I am a handsome young man, so is Guaran. Guaran seemed to be waiting for the other party's words, and immediately called out his name in an extremely arrogant tone. "Juvenile?" Hearing Guaran's self-proclaimed name, Xia Chen and the others couldn't help but feel their scalps tingling because of this guy's thick skin. "How old are you? How young are you? Still handsome? Where does your confidence come from? I've seen shameless people before, but I've never seen such shameless people. Hurry up and die for me." Fan Tianda seemed to be pissed off by Guaran's shamelessness and shouted angrily. "Your uncle Guaran is here too." Guaran responded arrogantly. Boom. Following the dialogue between Guaran and Fan Tianda, countless people were horrified. These creatures did not know who the Dragon Blood Legion was, but most of them knew the name of Fan Tianda. Brahma is the son of Brahma, and the great Brahma is known as the strongest god of the human race. Brahma is the representative of the human race in the Tianmai Xian realm, and no force is willing to provoke them. Fan Tianda is at the nearest position to Nilin of the Emperor's Tao, and all around him are the top experts of the human race. The position he occupies is the territory of the human race. But now, there is an existence that challenged Brahma, and what surprised them the most was that the person who challenged Brahma was also a human race. However, when Guoran showed his strength to challenge Fan Tianda, countless forces gave way one after another. Only now did they understand what kind of existence this group was. Those who can challenge Fan Tianda must compete for the position outside the aperture, and they are in a position that people don't like at all. In this way, these forces honestly gave up the passage to let the Wanlong nest pass through smoothly. They even hoped that the Wanlong nest would arrive at the center sooner. They wanted to see who it was that dared to challenge the so-called strongest human race. Brahma. Wanlong nest was flying all the way, and it had to be said that Long Chen let Guoran take action, shocking the audience, and leading Brahma to scold him, saving a lot of trouble. Wanlong nest moved forward rapidly, all the way unimpeded, getting closer and closer to the purple sun. The runes around Wanlong nest became brighter and brighter, and the power of the dragon poured into Wanlong nest like a tide. Boom 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 boom. The breath in Wanlong's nest exploded, and more people completed the condensation of the 9 natal veins, and advanced to the realm of the great perfection of the heavenly sage. With the help of the 7 treasure glazed tile tree, everyone's comprehension ability has reached its limit. They have comprehended all of Long Chen's original Jili runes, and if they can't comprehend them, it is estimated that it will be difficult to comprehend them. To Long Chen's relief, the Dragon Blood Warriors and Hidden Dragon Warriors have all condensed 9 natal veins, and their strength is unprecedented. And the Dragon Clan is not bad, not to mention Qi Wufeng, Mo Yang and other Dragon Clan's top arrogances, even those with moderate talent, have condensed 9 natal dragon veins. Moreover, their cohesion speed is faster than that of the Dragon Blood Legion, mainly because they are dragons themselves, which is the most advantageous realm in their cultivation realm. More than half of the Dragon Clan are Jumai Heavenly Sages. This ratio is very scary. However, the disciples of Fengshen Hage are much worse than the Dragon Clan. Of the 30 million disciples of Fengshenhai Pavilion, only 1/5 of them have condensed 9 natal dragon veins. However, most of the worst disciples of Fengshenhai Pavilion have also condensed 5 natal dragon veins, most of which are 7. And Bamai Tianxing. In fact, this has far exceeded Long Chen's expectations. Although the ability of the Qibao Liulishu is against the sky, it is not omnipotent. With so many people, there are gaps in talent, appearance, and understanding. According to Long Chen's original estimate, there will be 1/3 of the people who may not be able to condense their natal dragon veins. However, in later observations, Long Chen discovered that Tang Weiner's advancement speed was sometimes fast and sometimes slow. When her advancement was slow, those low-level disciples would quickly break through the bottleneck. Long Chen guessed that the disciples of Fengshen Hage were able to break through the shackles, probably because Tang Weiner used her strength to help them. It's just that Tang Weiner didn't mention this matter, so Long Chen couldn't ask more. The degree of advancement of the disciples of Fengshen Hage is much lower than that of the Dragon Clan, but compared with the strong outsiders, they can definitely sweep a large area. Dragon Blood Warriors, Hidden Dragon Warriors, and the 9 Meridian Heavenly Sages of all dragon races have assembled in the 10,000 Dragons Nest. They know that an unprecedented bloody battle is coming, and they are all running their breaths to let themselves adapt to the soaring power as soon as possible. And those strong people who have not advanced are still working hard to improve, and if they can condense 1 more Tianmai, they can contribute more power. Boom! Suddenly there was a tremor in Wanlong's nest, and Li Qi's figure suddenly appeared in front of everyone. At this time, Li Qi had no breath, only his eyes gleamed with crystal lights, sharp as knives. Other than that, he seemed to be different from before. What changes? Congratulations, you have successfully passed the customs. Song Mingyuan laughed. Not only has Li Qi advanced to the rank of 9 Meridians Heavenly Sage, but judging from his freely functioning aura, he has completely adapted to the new power. What about Zifeng, haven't you come back? Li Qi glanced around and couldn't help but ask. When Yu Zifeng was mentioned, everyone's expressions were a little dignified. Could it be that don't think about it, Zifeng will be fine. Long Chen said to everyone, maybe Zifeng was delayed by something, or he was comprehending the relics of the sword god and just forgot the time. Could it be that Zifeng is not here, so you have no confidence? Of course not, as long as I am alone is enough. At this moment, the little fox on by Xiaole's shoulder hugged his front paws. His eyes were full of arrogance. Long Chen, you bloody bastard, do you know how long I've been waiting for you? Suddenly, there was a sound of gnashing of teeth in front of Wanlong's nest, and at this time, Wanlong's nest had already arrived in front of Emperor Dao Nilin, and there were dense figures in front of it, with a surging murderous aura rushing towards him. Chapter 5684. There was a strange law in that voice. Hearing his voice made one feel fear from the bottom of his heart, as if he had been corroded by the power of death. For a moment, countless strong men were shocked. At that moment, they seemed to hear the call of death, and their souls were about to leave their bodies. A defeated general dares to speak bravely? Minglong Tunfeng, who gave you the courage to shout in front of me? Long Chen's response to Minglong Tianfeng's words was exactly the same as his response to Hou Tianwu, only the name was changed. And countless strong people were in an uproar. Hearing this tone, Minglong Tianfeng had also been defeated by Long Chen. You know, Minglong Tianfeng is the strong man who commands the Dragon Clan. They occupy a place on the opposite side, and there are countless strong dragon clans under them. However, even such a terrifying existence was defeated by Long Chen? Huh? Facing the ridicule from Long Chen, Minglong Tianfeng laughed loudly. The real courage is to know your shame and then be brave. Today I, Minglong Tianfeng, put my words here, and I will never let you leave Tianmeiquan alive. Environment. I'm afraid it's useless for you to let go. Long Chen can only die in my hands. At this moment, Fan Tian's voice came. A defeated general dares to speak bravely? Brahma, who gave you the courage to shout in front of me? Long Chen said lightly. Idiot, it was you who attacked me last time. We were evenly matched. When did I lose to you? Brahma cursed angrily. That's fine. If you say that if you don't distinguish between top and bottom, then it's fine. Long Chen said indifferently, without arguing with him. However, Long Chen's words caused an uproar. So many strong men have fought against Long Chen, and it seems that everyone has suffered at the hands of Long Chen, which is too scary. Long Chen, right? I didn't expect so many people to want your life. It seems that I have to act sooner. At this time, another voice came. When that voice came, a bone skeleton appeared in Long Chen's mind. Li Changing, the guy who obtained the corpse of the underworld emperor, also came, and the unprecedented pressure came to his face, but Long Chen's heart was full of waves, and endless fighting spirit rose in his chest. It seems that you can't let go of this slap in the face, Li Changing, you are too stingy, you can't make a big deal. Facing Li Changing's provocation from the air, Long Chen said indifferently. Who? Long Chen's words almost made the other party go berserk, because Long Chen's words instantly hit Li Changing's vitals, and Long Chen slapped him in the face, which was a lifelong shame for him. Long Chen's life is mine. I will kill whoever fights with me. Suddenly, there was a thunderous growl, full of murderous intent. Long Zai's voice sounded, and this guy had arrived. Boom! At this moment, the space was trembling, and countless exclamations sounded. The appearance of Long Chen broke the balance of the battlefield. Countless strong men couldn't wait, and wanted to detour to kill Long Chen. If you want to kill Long Chen, it depends on whether you are lucky. Seeing so many people want to kill Long Chen, a sneer appeared on the corner of Hou Tianwu's mouth. There are many people who want to kill Long Chen, but Long Chen has come to his camp. This is a gift from God for revenge. Holding a long golden stick, Hou Tianwu pointed at Long Chen, and said in a cold voice, there are more wolves and less meat. Don't blame me for not giving you a chance. Use your strongest strength to convince you to death. Boom! The flames of the 9 golden dragon veins behind Hou Tianwu rose, and the golden blood energy shot up into the sky. The flames burned the sky, and the berserk energy washed over the sky and the earth. Countless strong men couldn't stand the terrifying pressure, and retreated one after another, giving way to a large space. Hou Tianwu made a move, and Xiang Tu's eyes showed a hint of hesitation. He also wanted to kill Long Chen, and also wanted to fight with Ho Tianwu. After all, he was also defeated by Long Chen, and he also wanted revenge. However, this Xiang Tu finally held back, and stood behind Ho Tianwu with the other three, and did not fight with Ho Tianwu. Although this Xiang Tu looked like a big and three rough and no brains, but he was a little careful. He was betting that Ho Tianwu would not be able to take down Long Chen. If Ho Tianwu couldn't defeat Long Chen, or when he suffered a big loss, he blatantly killed Long Chen, then everything would be perfect. Ho Tianwu lost to Long Chen, but he killed Long Chen. In this way, everyone thinks that he is much stronger than Ho Tianwu, and there must be more monster clan forces falling to him, and he will become the leader of the competition. Great help. However, he was also a little worried. He was afraid that Long Chen would not be Ho Tianwu's opponent at all, because only he knew how terrifying the strength of Ho Tianwu, who had advanced to the rank of 9 Meridian Heaven Sage, was. Boom! Just as Long Chen was about to speak, suddenly a ray of divine light descended from the Emperor's Tao reverse scale, instantly covering Long Chen, and Long Chen's expression changed. An unstoppable suction distorted Long Chen's position, and Long Chen's figure disappeared in an instant. Boss has been sucked into the Emperor's Tao kneeling. Gu Yang and the others were taken aback. The accident happened so fast that no one was prepared at all. Originally, Ho Tianwu had already locked on Long Chen, but Long Chen suddenly disappeared at this moment, and the aura came from the Emperor's Tao kneeling, which shocked him too. How could this be? Is Huang Dao Nilin going to pass on his power to him? Countless people were shocked and angry. Boom! However, in the purple sun, the cold killing intent made them change their minds. Emperor Dao Nilin sucked Long Chen into the dragon scale, and wanted to kill him. For a moment, everyone was stunned by this sudden change. Everyone looked at the Imperial Dao Nilin, and in the distorted space of the Imperial Dao Nilin, they seemed to see Long Chen's figure. Seeing that everyone's eyes were attracted by Emperor Dao Nilin, the purple-eyed nine-tailed demon fox who was about to appear was immediately left there. When he looked at Ho Tianwu in front of him, it was already full of murderous intent. But Long Chen had seriously told him before that it was not allowed to make a move without his permission, so it has been forbearing until now. Little 9-inch by Xiaola suddenly noticed Xiao Jiao's abnormal fluctuations, and couldn't help being startled. The boss has already entered the dragon scale space. Do I still need to wait for his order? The purple-eyed nine-tailed demon fox said coldly. This step is also in the boss calculations. He said, let us delay as much as possible, reserve our strength, and wait for his return. Bai Xiaola said, why do you have to listen to him for everything? The damn sky demon golden monkey clan, ungrateful bastards, caused my purple-eyed Ninetails clan to almost be exterminated. Why should I endure it? The purple-eyed nine-tailed demon fox gritted its teeth, with a ferocious expression on its face, various runes slowly flowing in its pupils. Its aura began to rise, and it was ready to disobey advice and strike at any time. Xiao Jiao, if you want to make a move, our fate will end here. From now on, we will go our separate ways. Bai Xiaola took a deep breath. His eyes were full of calmness. That kind of calmness made the purple-eyed nine-tailed demon fox's heart tremble. Chapter 5688 Ka Ka Ka. The cracks kept getting bigger, and the air of chaos spewed out from the cracks. From the crackling sound, people seemed to hear the whimpering sound of the Tianmai profound realm. At that moment, everyone was shocked. What level of power is this? Someone's voice was trembling, and countless people were frightened. This knife made people despair, as if they had cut off their confidence in practice. What a terrifying blow! Even Gu Yang and the others felt their scalps tingling for a while. They had never seen Long Chen in white before. Seeing the boss turned into this appearance at this time, with a cold breath, he was not the Long Chen they knew at all, and they were all shocked. The sword of Long Chen in white slashed through the entire world. The space of the dragon scales was pierced, the barrier became transparent, and the scene inside was unobstructed. In front of Long Chen in white, stood a man with a thumb-wide slit from his head to his abdomen. This knife split his whole body into 2 pieces. Insidious trash, I never thought that I, Jun, would capsize in the gutter and die in the hands of a villain like you, but don't be too happy, go to hell with me. Juin roared. Boom, suddenly his body exploded, turning into hundreds of millions of purple dragon talismans, like a tide, instantly enveloping the white-clothed dragon dust. Candle in blood curse. With a roar from Juin, billions of runes exploded, and the entire space of dragon scales was ignited in the rising purple flame. Puff! The moment the billions of runes exploded, Long Chen in white used all his power to form a barrier. As a result, the barrier instantly shattered, and a mouthful of blood spurted out wildly. He didn't expect that the power of this blood curse would be so terrifying. The most terrifying thing was that the cursed flame invaded his soul. At this moment, Long Chen's body in white trembled violently, and white appeared on the outer circle of his black eyes, and the white quickly covered it, and one of Long Chen's eyes became normal. And the white robe gradually turned black, and the evil aura on Long Chen's body also gradually receded. You use me? Bai Long Chen's voice was full of shock and anger. At that moment, he seemed to understand everything. Why are you saying this so badly? Shouldn't you thank me for giving you a stage to perform for free? A smile appeared on the corner of Long Chen's mouth, which looked so sinister. You wait, the next time I show up, you will disappear forever. White-clothed Long Chen said coldly. Then let's talk about it next time. Long Chen smiled slightly. The aura of the white-clothed Long Chen completely disappeared, and Long Chen regained control of his body. At this time, endless purple flames were rising around him, and the entire dragon scale space was surrounded by a sea of purple flames. In this flame, there is the curse of Juin before death, which can destroy the human body, burn the human soul, and make people die in endless pain. This is an extremely terrifying curse. However, this kind of curse is effective for white-clothed Long Chen, but not for Long Chen. What are you kidding? The dragon blood here is from the same source as his dragon blood. How can anyone in this world curse himself? As for the flame, instead of posing a threat to Long Chen, it is Huolinger's great supplement. Without Long Chen's hands, Huolinger sensed the power of the flame and began to absorb it automatically. Hey, it doesn't take much effort to get here. Long Chen chuckled, sitting cross-legged in the void, his hands forming seals, and 9 dragon blood veins emerged, crazily devouring the power of the surrounding flames. You are really how powerful the Candle is, you actually let him kill you. The Chaos Dragon Emperor couldn't help but sigh with emotion. Candle is its inner demon, and it grows up with it. No one knows the strength of Candle better than it. Seeing Juin die so aggrieved, it felt a little unbearable in its heart. At the beginning, it used words to run on Juin, just to fight for a fair chance for Long Chen. Who knew that Long Chen had actually summoned Long Chen in white, and Long Chen in white had already condensed 13 dragon energy from the heavenly veins, and Juin was caught off guard by being killed. Juin with 9 dragon veins suffered a great loss against Long Chen in white with 13 veins, so he wanted to destroy the altar and increase his power to 13 heavenly veins to compete with Long Chen in white. And Long Chen in white didn't seem to know that Juin could continue to improve his strength, so he chopped off his arm with a single blow, and didn't even bother wasting time. The mighty Juin was killed by Bai Long Chen as a small character. Zuyin's death was really aggrieved. According to the Chaos Dragon Emperor's understanding of the white-clothed dragon dust, if he knew that Juin had 13 dragon veins with his pride, he would definitely give Juin a chance to gather the 13 dragon veins, and then fight fairly. However, it is meaningless to say anything now. Juin is dead, and the death curse severely injured Long Chen in white, but for Long Chen in black, Mao was not hurt. It can be said that Long Chen killed Juin without any effort, severely injured the heart demon, and took control of the kneeling space. This calculation is too insidious. Even the Chaos Dragon Emperor felt that Juin and Bai Long Chen were so pitiful, and they didn't know what happened from the beginning to the end. Boom! Long Chen killed Candle the dragon scale space began to burn, the dragon pillar and the altar began to melt, and as they melted, The pure power was released rapidly and spread outward rapidly. Break into the space of dragon scales and compete for the essence and blood of dragon origin. Suddenly someone shouted loudly, and countless people rushed towards the dragon scale space like crazy. When they rushed forward, they realized that there were already countless figures lying on the dragon scale space, frantically absorbing the energy in the flames. Energy. Although there is a curse in the flames as monster-level powerhouses, most of them have ways to resist the curse. Moreover, as the flames burned, the power of the curse became smaller and smaller, and it no longer posed a threat to them. Go away, this is our territory, intruders shoot and kill. Go to your mother's site. I said this is my site. Let's go together and hack them to death. Although the outer area of the dragon scale space is huge, there are too many people. The entire dragon scale space is filled with silhouettes in an instant, and 99% of the strong people have not yet rushed to the front. In the chaos for a while, countless strong men fought for the territory one after another, blood was splattered, and stumps were all over the sky. With a powerful force, shrink the formation and take an absolute defensive position, so that as many people as possible can absorb as much of the sacred power in the flames. Although they are all nine-veined heavenly saints and can no longer condense the heavenly veins, the sacred power in the dragon's blood is contained in this flame, and at the same time, there are also the laws of the Emperor's way. Absorbing them will not only allow them to enter the world smoothly, it is even possible to advance perfectly to the realm of the Emperor. There are many forms of advanced human emperors. Perfect advancement is the dream of countless people, because human emperors are also divided into 3, 6, and 9 grades, and the gap between different human emperors is huge. It is precisely because of the importance of perfect advancement that so many Tianjiao are so crazy. When others are crazily fighting, the Wanlong nest has been embedded in the enchantment of the dragon scale space, and the Dragon Blood Legion is bathing in the dragon blood. Flame, ready to fight at any time. Attack the gap, we rush in through the gap. Ho Tianwu's roar came, which made Gu Yang and others' faces change, and finally someone made a move. Chapter 5689 Long Chen in white split the dome of the dragon scale world with a knife, and a huge hole was drawn in the dragon scale world. At first, everyone avoided that hole because of fear, but now countless people rushed to that hole instead. That hole appeared, but the dragon scale world didn't collapse. It was repairing itself, but the knife from the white-clothed Long Chen was too terrifying, and the contained laws made the repair extremely slow. Now someone has finally noticed this weakness. If they are allowed to destroy this line and rush in, Long Chen will be in danger. Past, Xia Chen made a decisive decision and drove the 10,000 dragons' nest straight to the area, and soon came to the huge gap, but fortunately, the flame was burning with the dragon's blood rune and was quickly repairing the gap. Get rid of the Sky Demon clan first, they are destroying the gap. Gu Yang suggested. They are indeed a group of idiots with so many powerful forces. They didn't choose this place because they knew that if they attacked here, they would be attacked by us. They thought how smart they were, only they discovered this place and attacked directly without thinking. Guo Ran said a little annoyed. If the Yaozu can be smarter and not attack the gap, and the major forces wait and see, maybe they can delay a little longer. Now they have to take action. Boom! Wanlong's nest came whistling, and rushed towards the Sky Demon clan like that. Seeing the killing of Wanlong's nest, Ho Tianwu had a sinister smile on his face. Longchen, the turtle with a shrunken head, hid himself in the dragon scale space and let a group of younger brothers come to die. Well, today I will slaughter the entire Dragon Blood Legion. Warriors of the Sky Demon Alliance, deal with the Dragon Blood Legion as quickly as possible, and let the world tremble because of the power of our demon clan. Xiang Tu shouted angrily at the same time. The leaders of other clans also burst out with terrifying roars. The Sky Monster Alliance was unprecedentedly powerful and full of confidence. It had long wanted to have a bloody battle to prove the return of the king of the monster clan. Now that the Dragon Blood Legion has arrived, it is just time to use the Dragon Blood Legion to establish its prestige. Hundreds of millions of monster powerhouses immediately gave up the attack gap and rushed towards the dragon's nest like a tide. Smash your turtle shells first. 9 dragon veins danced behind Ho Tianwu, holding a golden long stick. He was the first to rush to Wanlong's nest, holding the long stick high. Boom! Suddenly the space in front of him exploded, and a sharp claw slapped him fiercely. With a loud bang, Ho Tianwu was sent flying by the claw. What? The powerhouses of the Sky Demon Alliance were all shocked. As the void twisted, people saw a huge figure covering the sky. 9 tails soared into the sky, and a pair of purple pupils floated in the void like the sun. A ferocious aura swept across the sky. People saw a huge 9-tailed demon fox blocking their way. It's the purple-eyed 9-tailed demon fox. When the powerhouses of the monster clan saw Xiao Jiao's body and felt its monstrous monster aura, they were all shocked. Sky Demon Golden Monkey Clan, you shameless beasts, today is the time to pay for your debts in blood. Xiao Jiao let out a thunderous roar with murderous intent, and her pair of purple pupils were bloodshot. The 9 tails trembled at the same time, and the mountain-like body rushed into the camp of the Sky Demon Golden Monkey Clan in an instant. Boom! On the 9 sky-covering long tails, a light spot appeared on each of them, and when the light spot appeared, it magnified instantly. Hide away! Seeing this scene, Ho Tianwu yelled in horror. He recognized that this was the ultimate move of the purple-eyed 9 tails clan, and he rushed forward like a bolt of lightning. 9 tails killer, Xiao Jiao roared, and the light clusters on the 9 tails instantly gathered together. The violent power distorted the world, and the law collapsed. The ball of light broke away from Xiao Jiao's tail, crossed the void, and landed on the ground of the Sky Demon Golden Monkey Clan. In camp! Boom! Just like the sun bursting, the rays of light are thousands of miles away, the divine voice is rumbling, the avenue runes are annihilated, and the flesh and blood are crushed into powder. Puff puff! After the divine light raged, I saw a figure in the camp of the Sky Demon Golden Monkey Clan. The runes on the golden stick in his hand lit up, opening a barrier, protecting a part of the Sky Demon Golden Monkey Clan's powerhouses in it. That person was Ho Tianwu. He reacted very quickly, but unfortunately he only had time to save tens of thousands of people, and the remaining tens of millions of strong people from the Heavenly Demon and Golden Monkey Clan were killed in one blow. At that moment, Ho Tianwu was about to burst into tears, and in front of him were the corpses of the strong members of the Sky Demon Golden Monkey Clan. Under this terrifying blow, only the powerful Sky Demon Golden Monkeys were eligible to leave the corpses, and the rest had already died. Into nothingness. 9 tails, Ho Tianwu was about to go crazy. He gritted his teeth, held a long golden stick, turned into a bolt of lightning and killed Xiao Jiao. Angry? Do you know that hundreds of millions of creatures of my purple-eyed 9-tailed clan have been killed by you despicable guys? Do you know my anger? Xiao Jiao let out a shocking roar, and suddenly opened his big mouth. The purple energy gathered, and suddenly spat out. A purple divine light shot fiercely at Ho Tianwu. Boom! The golden long stick in Ho Tianwu's hand smashed hard on the purple divine light. The purple divine light burst into pieces, and Ho Tianwu flew upside down in the roar of thousands of roads. Boom boom! Ho Tianwu and the purple-eyed 9-tailed demon fox. Flames were ignited all over their bodies at the same time, and the dragon veins began to burn. When the enemies met, they were extremely jealous. They knew that this battle would not only determine the outcome, but also determine life and death. Ho Tianwu was possessed by a heroic spirit, 10,000 miles tall, turned into a colossus, the same height as the purple-eyed 9-tailed demon fox, holding a golden long stick like a pillar of the sky, and slammed it at the purple-eyed 9-tailed demon fox. Boom! The purple pupil 9-tailed demon fox has no weapons, but its 9 flowing tails are its strongest weapon. The 9 tails suddenly become as hard as iron, and the 9 tails are intertwined. The tailed demon fox's body suddenly fell short, and the ground under its feet caved in. Laugh, however, when the purple-eyed 9-tailed demon fox resisted Ho Tianwu's stick, its head suddenly thrust forward. Its huge mouth bit on Ho Tianwu's arm, and its sharp teeth pierced through Hou Tianwu directly. The battle armor penetrated into the flesh and blood. Boom! Hou Tianwu tried hard to get rid of it, but once the purple-eyed nine-tailed demon fox bit the opponent, it didn't let go. The nine tails swung, biting wildly, rolling all the way with Hou Tianwu, and rolled directly into the distance. The bloody battle between the two behemoths scared countless people out of the way. The two rolled away, separated abruptly, and then collided again. They are huge, but they are extremely flexible, and their speed is as fast as lightning. Every attack is so shocking. Hou Tianwu and Xiao Jiu seemed to be crazy. As soon as they fought, both sides were injured. They both wanted to kill each other as quickly as possible. Don't worry about him, let's continue. The appearance of the purple-eyed nine-tailed demon fox caught the Sky Demon Alliance by surprise. Seeing Hou Tianwu being dragged back, Xiangte let out a loud shout and charged at the Dragon Blood Legion with an ivory spear. Boom! Suddenly a fierce wind blew up, and a long spear appeared out of thin air, blocking Xiangte's way. Xiangte blocked it casually, and in the overlapping air waves, Xiangte was shocked back a few steps. Your Majesty Long Chen, the head of the First Legion of the Dragon Blood Legion, Gu Yang, come here to learn. A domineering and majestic voice spread throughout the battlefield, and then Gu Yang's burly figure appeared in front of Xiang Tuesday. You're tuning in to the Passion Pages YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.